Chapter 31, Valley of the Gods, Bringing Pain to the World Government. Please read on, 4K chapter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 31, The Valley of Gods Brings Pain to the World Government. Please read, 4K big chapter. John, what was the ghost's name last night, that the Golden Lion couldn't help but ask John when he saw him for the first time. He was practicing last night, and he heard the words resurrection, my love coming from the back of the mountain. He was confused at that time. Where could John have a lover? I wanted to ask at that time, but at that time the Golden Lion was still thinking about developing abilities, so I decided to wait until tomorrow to ask. As a result, I kept thinking about John for the rest of the night and couldn't concentrate on developing abilities. So he immediately went to find John, but John had already left, and he lost sleep that night. Did you hear that? John finally chose a time when no one was around in a back mountain that few people went to. How the hell could the Golden Lion hear it? He carefully looked around, and after making sure Bai Yi didn't hear what he just said, he immediately said, you don't understand, I will be very lucky starting today, that this guy must be a fool. He had lost sleep over this matter yesterday, and he was even more stupid. The Golden Lion suddenly felt that he was a little ridiculous. Sure enough, staying with fools for a long time will indeed affect your IQ. What did you say? Bai Yi walked up and patted John on the shoulder with a smile. He also pretended not to know what happened yesterday, but when he saw John again today, he still couldn't help but want to laugh. I'm afraid this guy already has a way to die. Nothing, let's go quickly. As if he was afraid that Golden Lion would talk about this matter, John pulled Bai Yi and left quickly. He didn't want Bai Yi to know about this. Yesterday, he said that only a fool would believe it, but he started howling when he reached the back mountain. Rox's captain's cabin, in addition to Whitebeard and others, Kaido is also here. When he saw Bai Yi for the first time, he was a little aggrieved, obviously not convinced by yesterday's battle. Rox looked around, and after seeing Bai Yi, Captain John and the Golden Lion coming in one after another, he also took out the map he had prepared before. Then he pointed his finger at an island in the Western Sea. It's surprising that this island is not marked on the map, but there is indeed an island here. Valley of the Gods. This island, which is not marked on the map, is also information that Rox finally obtained. So Rox, what the hell are you thinking about? Wang Ji was silent for a moment, then raised his head and looked at Rox with some confusion and asked, is there anything necessary on this island that would allow him to gather the great pirates of the New World? According to Rox, this must be a major event that changes the world, and they are here for this. If Rox is not talking about a big event, then they will leave at any time. So what secrets does this island hold? Jia ha 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 ha, it's an island that doesn't appear on the map. Rox, you won't tell me that this is the so-called Ravdru, right? That the final island, even though Roger has not yet landed on the island and made this place known to the whole world, as a great pirate, of course he also knows that the red historical text can reach the final island. The Golden Lion's dream is to collect all the historical texts and then go to the final island. However, the Golden Lion had found it before, but he couldn't understand it, so he chose to give up. At least until he found someone who could understand it, the Golden Lion wouldn't waste too much time in this regard. No Ravdru, this island is called the Valley of the Gods. Valley of the Gods. What an arrogant name. After hearing Rox say the name of this island, several people around him were also surprised. An island that did not appear on the map, and also had the name Valley of the Gods. Suddenly everyone present except Bai Yi became interested. So there are a lot of treasures here. John felt that Rox was a really good person, and he could still call him if he had a big treasure. There are a total of 7 captains here, including Rox, and Rox takes 30%, and each of the others takes 10%, so there should be a lot, right? Besides, my good brother Bai Yi doesn't like treasures, so taking 20% of them is not too much, right? John thought happily. At worst, he would compensate Bai Yi for 10 or 8 beauties in the future. Yes, and there are many treasures. After hearing Rox's answer, John almost jumped up and said he had to take action now, but other people's faces were a little dissatisfied, because they didn't particularly care about the treasure at all. Although it was okay to have it, if you want to gather everyone together just for some treasure, then obviously they wouldn't be satisfied. Momo, Rox, you bastard, you just gathered us here for some treasure. A trace of dissatisfaction flashed across Charlotte Lingling's face, and then she asked directly without any politeness, although the golden lion on the side did not speak, his expression was obviously not very good. No, treasure is just one of them. The reason why the Valley of the Gods does not appear on the map is because this island is the hunting ground of the celestial dragons. Celestial dragons. Why does this involve the celestial dragons again? Jia ha 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 ha, Rocks, you bastard, aren't you going to lead us to kill the celestial dragons, are you? Although the golden lion feels that he is brave enough, but if Locks were to do this, he would just feel like he was crazy. Although the big pirate looks very beautiful, compared with the entire navy and the world government, it is still far behind. That's right, just kill the celestial dragons, Rock said, a wild smile flashed across his face. He had planned this plan for a long time, however, he always believed that killing one or two Tianlong people had no meaning at all. If you want to do it, you have to do something big. Do it. As long as there are financial reports, then the Tianlong people will do it too. We must become richer than them. The rich are the bosses, make money. John was already blinded by the large amount of treasure. He was a little worried at first, but when he thought about it later, wasn't he just going to see for a little treasure? There is no use robbing poor people. How much money do those poor people have? Whoever has money will be robbed. Looking at it this way, aren't the celestial dragons the best targets? Anyway, Rocks is here, and if something happens if he follows behind to grab some money, Rocks will be the one to take the blame. Gula la 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 la, Rocks, are you crazy? Whitebeard scratched his hair, feeling that this pirate group seemed to be in a daze. He is not afraid of the world government, but it seems uneconomical to completely break up with the world government for some treasure. No, don't say this now. Wait until I explain the situation of the Valley of Gods to you clearly, and then you can decide. Rocks shook his head, not in a hurry. They didn't know the situation in the Valley of Gods yet, so it was normal to have such a reaction. Okay, you say. Bai Yi is actually also very curious. Although he has seen some plots in his previous life, things about the Valley of Gods have not been completely revealed. Rocks would never attack the Valley of Gods just to kill the celestial dragons. First of all, let me talk about the background of the Valley of the Gods. The Valley of the Gods is a place where the celestial dragons hunt. The objects of hunting are humans, and they will set some prizes on it. Each of those prizes is the best devil fruit. Some swords and so on. At the same time, there is another thing there. If we can take it, we can become enemies of the world government in the future. And now only I know this news. Even the world government doesn't know that I already know about them. Things about the Valley of the Gods, if we land at that time, then these things will belong to us, including the best devil fruits, various treasures and other gadgets. In short, this time will be the only opportunity in this life since we went to sea. If we lose this one chance, I believe you will regret it. If it succeeds, you don't need to be afraid of the world government, you can still sail outside under the banner of Rock's Pirates, you can form your own pirate group, and then everyone is still a pirate alliance, and you can each fulfill your dreams. What I want to talk about with the pirates is profit. As for saving the people over there, Rocks felt like no one believed him, but Rocks had another reason he didn't tell anyone else, that is the will of D that he comprehended. Rocks understood that sooner or later he would be the enemy of the celestial dragons. The main reason why he roped in this group of people was that he could use them to deal with the celestial dragons together in the future. D is God's natural enemy, and God is naturally the celestial dragon. Since he will become an enemy sooner or later, it is better to take this opportunity to remove part of the strength of the celestial dragon, and I heard that there is a secret treasure of the Tianlong people there. Although he didn't know what it was, Rocks would not let this opportunity pass him by. The ultimate devil fruit. Kaido was silent. He lost miserably yesterday. In his opinion, if there was a top-quality devil fruit, he would definitely not lose to Byakuya. I go. Kaido expresses his position directly, not to mention he is not afraid of killing the celestial dragons. Momo, of course I want to go to such a good thing. Charlotte Lingling's eyes flashed, and she also had some concerns in her heart. She also needed devil fruits, and she wanted all the children she would give birth to eat devil fruits for her. Since there is a prize for the celestial dragons hunting, it is natural that the prize cannot be rubbish. If there is a sword, then I will go too. Wang Ji has always wanted to change a weapon for himself. If he has the supreme sharp knife, he feels that this action will be worth it. Jia ha 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 ha, Locks, what is that thing you are talking about? Compared to others, the most ambitious golden lion cares more about the thing that can compete with the world government. I am not sure as well. Rox shook his head. He was not very clear about this and could not answer the golden lion's question. Jia ha 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 ha, let's go then, there is a treasure anyway. Gulu la 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 la, I'll go too. Whitebeard is different from others. He has already established his dream. He wants to collect some war orphans and then form his own pirate group, so, this time in the Valley of the Gods, according to Rox, the people the heavenly dragons were hunting should be a group of poor people, and Whitebeard wanted to go there to see if there were any children he could take in. Then, Silver Axe also agreed. Since he can continue to sail in the new world under the banner of Rox pirates, and he can also form his own force under the banner, of course he will not refuse. Like Rox said, there will be a lot of treasures this time. Everyone went out to see for these. He didn't eat the devil fruit. If he could get a top-quality devil fruit, just like Bai Yi, his strength would definitely be able to go up a level. Bai Yi, what about you? Rox turned his head and looked at Bai Yi. Everyone else had expressed their opinions, only Bai Yi was still thinking. Go, why not? God Valley, at worst, just run away. Everyone actually wanted to make a fortune and run away, like Kaido and Big Mom. After getting the devil fruit, they ran away directly, although they might have been watching at the beginning. If Garp and Roger's pirate group hadn't come, they would probably still participate in the war, but after seeing Rox fall into a disadvantage, the others ran away directly. In the original work of God Valley, Golden Lion, Whitebeard, Big Mom and Kaido were the four who ran fast, and only John and Silver Axe died here, but Bai Yi didn't go to God Valley like them. If he could get the top-quality fruit, it would be fine, but if he couldn't get it, it didn't matter. Bai Yi wants to leave the Rox pirates, but before he leaves, he must do something big, and he has to get Rox body cells, and then use the impure world reincarnation to revive directly, although he doesn't know if there is a netherworld here, and in the Valley of the Gods. Bai Yi also wants to recruit his first real crew. Bartholomew Big Bear. The man with the hand of liberation, with the title of tyrant, but doing the most gentle things. Besides, Bai Yi doesn't spoil the celestial dragons. He will kill as many as he can in this operation, and if he can't kill them, he will just run away. Anyway, he can go directly to Sky Island, and at most he can wait until the time is right and then come down. It's not that the world government can come to Sky Island to catch him, right? Very good, then it's decided, Rock said with a big laugh. Since everyone agrees, he can also start preparing for the Valley of the Gods. This time he will give the world government a big surprise. By then, everyone will know the horror of the Rox pirates, but before that, he still had one thing to do. Thinking of this, Rox also set his sights on a few people. He had a secret mission that needed someone to complete. After a glance, Rox finally set his sights on Bai Yi. Obviously, he thought that Bai Yi, who had eaten the thunder fruit, was currently the most suitable candidate to complete this task. Bai Yi, I have a task for you. You must complete it before the God Valley incident. Chapter 32 Chat Group Function Upgrade. New members are about to join. Please read, 4K chapter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 32, Chat Group Function Upgrade. New people will join soon. Please read, 4K big chapter. What? Before we attack the Valley of the Gods, I want you to go to the Chambord Islands to kidnap a celestial dragon. Lox looked at Bai Yi seriously. His plan was also improvised. If Bai Yi hadn't eaten the thunder fruit, he wouldn't have thought of this plan because he didn't have enough time. He had thought about letting the Golden Lion go, but it was obviously impossible for the Golden Lion to come to the Valley of Gods from the Shampoo Islands. Half a day is up, and White Knight's thunder fruit is obviously available. Kidnapping the celestial dragons. No matter how hard it is, a good life will never fall on you, Bai complained in his heart, feeling that Locks was just causing trouble for him. That's right, let me tell you directly. There are 2 god-level fruits in the Valley of Gods that belong to me. They are the treasures of Pirate Island. They were stolen by those guys and became their prizes. I must take back, but before that, I need you to attract the attention of the world government. Before we take action, the celestial dragons will go to the slave auction house in the Shampoo Islands that day. You just need to capture that guy or kill him if you want. In short, attract the attention of the Navy and the world government, and then find an opportunity to leave the Shampoo Islands and come to the Valley of the Gods. As a reward for this mission, I can give you one of the Phantom Beast's green dragon form and the meatball fruit. Rox wants Byakuya to attract the attention of the world government and the Navy. At the same time, he couldn't swallow his breath. The treasures belonging to Honeycomb Island were actually taken away by the opponent. The 2 fruits were actually regarded as the opponent's prizes. He had always been the only one to rob other people's treasures, but no one could rob him. After listening to Rock's words, Bai's eyes flashed with understanding. No wonder Garp said in the original novel, "Don't poke the beehive, it's the treasure of Pirate Island, they will definitely take it back." The 2 fruits of the co-author, Blue Dragon and Meatball, belong to Rox. Each one depends on his or her ability. I will let them leave one to you, and you can choose one yourself. Lox had obviously tacitly agreed that Bai would agree and let Bai choose between the blue dragon form and the meatball fruit. I want the meatball fruit. Although Bai really wants to ask for the blue dragon form, this fruit really doesn't get along with him, and he doesn't like this fruit either. The blue dragon fruit that his aunt grabbed first was intended to be traded with Kaido. If a fruit is chosen by herself, then the ant will most likely set her sights on the meatball fruit. What Big Bear wants is the liberating hand, not the blue dragon fruit, which is not a match in itself. Moreover, giving this fruit to Big Bear by yourself will also make it easier for you to win over the other party. At the same time, he had reserved the meatball fruit first, but he was not ready to give up the blue dragon fruit. He would either eat it by force, exchange the fruit for a favor with Kaido, or simply take it with him after the Rocks pirates disbanded. Kaido joins his own pirate group. Ivankov, Big Bear and Ginny. Ivankov can be thrown to the dragon and don't want a she-male on his ship, but Bai is still struggling with such a talent. After all, he can also be a ship's doctor, but Big Bear must be tricked into boarding the ship, then Ginny also needs to be taken away. After all, she will be captured by the Draco in the later stage, and then give birth to Pony, which directly creates the tragic life of Xiong. At the same time, he also thought that it would be a wonderful thing if he could gather all the Shichibukai in the original work on his own pirate ship. Locks was quite satisfied with Bai's attitude, and then took out a small book from his pocket and handed it to Bai. Okay, I will let them leave the meatball fruit to you, then I will leave this task to you. This book notes for you. This is my opinion on the armed color, the wisdom color and the overlord color. It includes the internal destruction of the armed color, some advanced uses of the wisdom color, various advanced domineering uses such as the overlord color winding, and cultivation conjectures. You still need to understand it yourself. The meatball fruit is obviously just a dessert. Bai already has the thunder fruit. He also knows that Bai can only give it to other people in the future, but it has no direct benefit to Bai. Rox also uses some of his knowledge about domineering cultivation. Leave the experience to Bai. Thank you. I'll leave first. Bai took the small book and tried to calm himself down. This is Lox's experience in practicing domineering. If you want to say that the person who has the deepest understanding of domineering training in this era, maybe apart from the one in Holy Land Marie Joa, the only one is Rox. He could become the overlord of this era not by relying on devil fruit, but by relying on his dominance and body. It was he who left a deep impression on Kaido, and Kaido has always believed in this since then. Bai, you won't let me down, right? Looking at Bai's back, Rox murmured. He seemed to have given Bai a choice just now, but in his heart he actually wanted Bai to kill the Tianlong people. Only in this way would Bai have no way out. People like Whitebeard and Golden Lion would later quit the Rocks Pirates, and he asked Whitebeard to bring Kaido back just to cultivate his direct lineage, one Kaido, one Baiyi. After this time, he plans to train them to be his right-hand man. He will find a way to give the Azure Dragon Fruit to Kaido, and then give the Meatball Fruit to Baiyi, so that he can find a suitable subordinate to hand over to him. At the same time, he will tell Baiyi the high-level practice method of domineering. Later, Baiyi's Thunder Fruit will be matched with the powerful three-color domineering. Even if those guys leave the Rocks Pirates, their strength will not be weakened too much. Ding. A small rewrite of the plot is successful. Reward, 1 chance for Baiyi to draw in the pirate world. Pirate Baiyi, everyone, the captain competition is over. The captain has been successfully retained, and Rox's domineering practice manual has also been obtained. Hokage Baiyi, your chance to draw. Pirate Baiyi, Rox gave me a task that did not appear in the original work. I guess it is. Then, Baiyi briefly told Rox about the task he gave him and what happened recently. Monster Baiyi, then are you going to change the fate of Big Bear and Ginny? Pirate Baiyi, yes, I feel that these two guys are a bit miserable, not to mention that Big Bear is a good fighter with a good personality. It should be nice to be a partner with such a gentle guy, right? Shaking his head, Baiyi set his sights on the lottery opportunity. Ding. Pirate World Baiyi successfully used the lottery opportunity. Congratulations on obtaining Alien Physique. Alien Physique, from Blackbeard, the physique will give the host the ability to eat 3 devil fruits. Pirate Baiyi. Although there is no improvement this time, this physique is what he has always wanted. Naruto Baiyi, no, isn't it said that Blackbeard has the octopus form because he ate the mythical beast species? Double pain is all due to the side effects of the octopus fruit. Although everyone teased at the beginning that it would be better if it belonged to the same physique, most of them thought that the devil fruit from Blackbeard was the mythical beast species octopus fruit, because many characteristics can match with octopus. Nika hates octopus. Octopus has 3 hearts, Blackbeard's pirate flag is 3 skulls, Blackbeard has 3 guns, Blackbeard has 3 beards, but there is a doubt, that is, Blackbeard wants to seize the sweet fruit of the Empress in the later period. Logically speaking, if he has an octopus fruit, it should be impossible to give it to himself, so who in the black group? And what's the use of him eating it? Milo. Daily White Knight, who cares, anyway, with this physique, you can eat 3 devil fruits. Naruto White Knight, that's right, there is already a natural system, and then a superhuman system, and a mythical beast. Isn't this taking off? Pirate Baiyi, I have already thought about it. For the Superman type, I choose surgery, gravity, slowness, and the childlike fruit. Gravity, slowness, and childlike fruit can all cooperate with my thunder fruit. The enemy slows down, and I speed up, which is equal to double acceleration. The characteristic of the childlike fruit that it is not easy to hit people does not exist in front of my thunder fruit. The 3 kinds of mythical beasts are the same. Ding! The chat group has been updated. After this update, the item use function is enabled. The Baiyi of each world can trade props from their own world to other worlds. Special ability props such as Devil Fruit, Sharingan and other card bug ability items and props can be used by others across the world. Weapons such as Zanpakuto can be borrowed, but cannot be beaten to awaken again in other worlds. Ding! New members will join the chat group soon. Wait! The chat group has updated new functions. The 5 people immediately began to study, from ninja tools, artillery in the pirate world, and some miscellaneous things in the monster world. They kept trading with each other. Some were successful, some failed, so they came to a conclusion: special props cannot be given to each other. For example, Baiyi in the zombie world wanted to take the skills, but he couldn't trade them at all. Similarly, there was no way to take the devil fruits. However, some weapons with special abilities, such as some things in the monster world, can be brought over. Daily Baiyi, maybe they are afraid that we will take advantage of the card bug. Everyone can share abilities. First of all, everyone has a devil fruit, so Bai Yi in the pirate world has the ability of 7 devil fruits. At the same time, each Bai Yi transplants a pair of Sharingan, and then opens the Mangekyo, so there are more than a dozen Mangekyo abilities, and this does not count the training of his own subordinates, and later on, Bai Yi from other worlds will join. If this can be traded out, I'm afraid there won't be countless Mangekyo abilities, devil fruit abilities, Zanpakuto, etc. Pirate Bai Yi, yes, this thing seems to ask you to get us some arms. When can you get me a little boy? I'll nuke the pirate world. Daily Bai Yi, don't say it. You really don't say it. I think I can give it a try. You can also get some pure gold from your pirate world. Although we share a lifespan and won't die of old age, other people related to us will die. If there is pure gold, then these are not a problem. Pirate Bai Yi, indeed, if you open your mind and see, if Bai Yi from the Arad world joins later, can he still give us wholesale resurrection coins? Before, abilities were shared, but props could not be given to each other. But now, some things that can cause bugs are prohibited from trading by the chat group, but ordinary consumable props and some special weapons are not restricted by the chat group. It is probably because the chat group does not want them to cause bugs. Zombie White Knight, has no one discussed joining new members? Daily White Knight, the main reason is that no clues were given. It is a bit too early to discuss it now, but I am also going to do something. Speaking of buying arms, I don't have money. He suddenly realized a problem. At least he needed a sum of money, but the next second, he received 100 kilograms of gold. Pirate White Knight, no need to thank me, brother. If it is not enough, I will go to Old John to purchase more. Daily White Knight, brother, I can still get some small pistols, but if you ask me to get something else, I really can't get it. Hokage White Knight, open your mind a little, just go to the winery. Daily White Knight, what the hell? It seems that you can really say that. Although the winery is full of fake wine, there is only one water factory, but if you can find a reliable person to get some arms for yourself, it seems that it is not impossible. That is a tough guy who directly flies a helicopter to fight the Metropolitan Police Department. It is not too much to have some arms, right? Pirate White Knight, okay, I'll leave the arms to you. You can tell me how much gold you need and I will get it for you. After White Knight finished speaking, he heard a pig-like howling in his ears, which damn stole my gold. I must kill you. N. John seems to be suffering from the pain of losing his lover. I believe that it won't be long before his lover will be resurrected. White Knight walked away a little with a guilty conscience. Pirate White Knight, my buddy has no gold to take recently. You should find a trading channel first. These weapons in the pirate world are too lame. I plan to upgrade my pirate group later. Hokage White Knight, do you want a detonating tag? We Uchiha clan also do this. If it doesn't work, I will sacrifice a little to seduce Xiaonan. Zombie Bay, ahem, is that a sacrifice? Letting you seduce Xiaonan means letting you drive a luxury car and live in a villa, right? Pirate Bay, there's no rush for this, but you can do business with Xiaonan in reverse, such as wholesale C4 to Xiaonan, and then tell Xiaonan that you don't want C4 to be cut off, right? Daily Bay, ahem, you guys are such a show-off. Zombie Bay, well, do you have any movies of the teacher? Share one and see. Ding. Daily Bay uploaded 10 videos. Zombie Bay, a person who practices Taoism should be pure in mind and desire. I'll log you off first. Pirate Bay, typing with both hands to show innocence. Hokage Bay, I feel that my Mangekyo has improved a lot, staring at the frame. Thank you Daily Bay. Monster Bay, it's boring. Daily Bay, ahem, I don't have that special taste. Monster Bay, I don't need it at all. Daily Bay, I understand, we are all family, I will find it for you. Monster Bay, I am the trembling nobleman, how can I watch this? No more talking, I'm going to play Odoudou. Chapter 33 Seshomaru, my stupid Odoudou. Please read on, 4K chapter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 33, Seshomaru, My Stupid Odo. Please read, 4K Big Chapter. Seshomaru, my stupid brother, it seems that your strength is far behind me again. Having just finished taking Seshomaru, Byakuya felt much more comfortable all over. After being promoted to a first-class Yukai, Byakuya immediately thought of asking Seshomaru to test his strength. Asshole, how come your cultivation speed is so fast? Call me brother. With that said, Byakuya punched Seshomaru directly on the head. No, why did you improve your strength so quickly? A month ago, he was still a second-rate monster like himself, but just a short time ago, he was still a second-rate monster, while Byakuya had already reached the first-rate level. Who knows? Bai didn't hesitate at all about Seshomaru's attitude of rejection. His younger brother had always been like this, and he seemed to be more arrogant. Anyway, asking him to call him brother is harder than killing him. In terms of strength, he was also surprised that his strength improved so quickly. The follow-up would probably be a strong level monster. However, although it is said to be a strong level, it is not actually a complete level, but it is actually close to it. When you reach the realm of Daiyukai, which is commonly known as the Daiyukai goalkeeper, it generally seems that if you have a good weapon at this time, you can be considered a strong level monster. It was only when we got to the big monsters that we entered the strong club. During the Inuyasha period, there were many big monsters, unlike Naruto's period, where the big monsters were already very rare. By the way, I'm going to leave the dog city for a while and practice on my own recently. It was Byakuya and Seshomaru who had been practicing together all this time, and of course Byakuya was the one who beat Seshomaru unilaterally. Although there is not much difference in strength between the two, Byakuya can win him with a slight advantage every time, which makes Seshomaru somewhat unconvinced. He has always been persistent in training, hoping to defeat Byakuya one day. Of course, he didn't think about taking shortcuts, but after thinking that there was a high probability that it wouldn't belong to him, he felt a little disappointed. Leaving the City of Dogs. Are you planning to join the war between the City of Dogs and the Ocelot clan? Bai already has the strength of a first-class monster. If he has a good weapon, then he has the strength between the big monsters. So is he going to find his father and break his teeth with iron? No, not so soon. I don't want to go to war now. I still lack a weapon. Don't you want your father's 3 swords of heaven, earth and man? Seshomaru looked at Byakuya in surprise. He originally thought that Byakuya would go to the front line and then ask General Inutai for a weapon. But from what Byakuya meant, it seemed that he wanted to make a weapon by himself. My stupid brother, what belongs to you is the best. Although the 3 swords of heaven, earth and man are very strong, why don't you go your own way? Byakuya covered her forehead with some distress. When Seshomaru was very young, Byakuya had been instilling in him that it was best to rely on oneself, rather than taking someone else's. The 3 swords of heaven, earth and man are indeed powerful. Tai Suya can plunder the demonic power of other monsters and evolve various abilities. Tianxingya can kill the messengers of the underworld and resurrect the dead. Tsong Yunya is a bug-like weapon that can even make people Setsuna Tengen, which originally belonged to ordinary people, has the ability to seriously injure Inu Dasho. There is no doubt that these 3 swords are very strong, but he doesn't need them, and neither does Seshomaru. It can be seen from the original work that General Inu has been planning the next path for Inuyasha. Why? Because Inuyasha is a half-demon, the upper limit is here, and Seshomaru has inherited the perfect bloodline of him and Lin Uxianji, and has his own way to go. There is no need for Inu Dai to arrange it. This is actually Inu Dai's belief in Seshomaru. Performance, but Seshomaru himself didn't think so in the early stage, but after he traveled to this world, he actually tried to change Seshomaru's thoughts. At first, he felt very good personally, but later, for some unknown reason, Seshomaru became interested in Inudasho's sword again. You don't understand. You have never seen your father use Taishaya. Seshomaru thought so at first, but later he saw General Inu using Tetsuya. With just one swing of his sword, tens of thousands of monsters were instantly reduced to ashes. At that time, he had the idea of owning Taisuya in his heart. So, you want Taisuya? Byakuya took it, but after doing it for a long time, Seshomaru still wanted to break the teeth. This thing is indeed a cheating artifact, but you Seshomaru don't need it at all. But Byakuya didn't know how to tell Seshomaru about this. Hearing Byakuya's straightforward words, Seshomaru nodded without hesitation. This young man, who even had the idea of snatching a knife when his father was about to die, naturally would not shy away from his feelings. Before meeting Ling, Seshomaru was indeed indifferent to everything, even though Baiyi, who had grown up together with her since childhood, did not show much rejection and even had a good relationship. He would not show too much the warmth in his heart. Perhaps, this is probably the reason why General Inu Tai did not give the Tetsuya to Seshomaru, but gave the natural teeth to Seshomaru. His demonic nature is too strong and too violent. Baiyi was silent for a while, then shook his head and glanced at Seshomaru. Forget it, anyway, I still said what I said before, what belongs to you is the strongest. External force is always external force, even if it does not belong to you, no matter how powerful that thing is, you can't exert its original strength. He knew that it was obviously not possible for him to persuade Seshomaru at this time, and he would not listen to him. Then Seshomaru, I'll leave first. I'm going to find Totosai to make me a sword of my own. With that said, Baiyi got up and left, preparing to find Totosai. Master Shiroyasha, I feel like Master Seshomaru doesn't really want to hear what you have to say. Minka jumped out of Byakuya's hair. When Byakuya lectured Seshomaru just now, he was listening and nodding in his mind. No wonder the master would say that Baiyi's achievements in the future will definitely be stronger than Seshomaru. After all, Baiyi has his own path, and he also knows what he wants. He firmly believes that his own path is the strongest, not the old path of the dog general. What if you take the three swords of heaven, earth and man? It is not the old way of following the dog general. It is unknown whether he can surpass the dog general in the end. It's normal. That guy is very stubborn. It's not the right time for him now. Seshomaru who doesn't understand the heart of protection. Byakuya was a human in his previous life. Although he was reborn as a monster and became the first child of Inu Admiral and the fairy lady Retsutsu, he still has the protective heart of humans in his heart, and he will not be as extreme as Seshomaru. Today, Seshomaru is following the same path as his original work. It's a pity that the master is also very worried about this matter now. Originally, I wanted to place my hope on Master Byakuya. Let the old man do it by himself, but don't leave these things to me. Damn it! Isn't this Inu Dashang's own business? Still want to throw it to yourself? I guess I'm also worried about Master Seshomaru, but speaking of which, does Master Shiroyasha know that you are going to have another younger brother? Ming Jia asked tentatively. Not many people knew the news yet, it's just that the monsters in the dog city probably know that General Inu seems to be in love with a human woman. Don't you know it now? Inuyasha, it seems that General Inu is not far from death. Well, I'm going to leave Taisuya to him. Minga glanced at Byakuya tentatively. If it were Seshomaru, he would definitely not tell him. This is what General Inu asked him to tell Byakuya in advance. This old guy has already distributed his property before he died. It seems that Inu Admiral did not make his decision before he died, but he had already thought about it while he was still alive. But think about it, General Inu doesn't need these three swords at all and he is still a king-level monster. Tetsuyasha is a necessity for Inuyasha, but not for Inu Dasho. In fact, the master has already thought about it. Maybe after these things are completely settled, the master will retire. At the end of the sentence, a trace of sadness flashed across Ming Jia's face. General Inu has been at war for these years. After he succeeded to the throne, he has been fighting with big monsters such as Death Ghost, Dragon Bone Spirit, Ocelot Oyakata, etc., and he has never stopped. He is tired and wants to finish them all. After the incident, he took Izaoi and immortal fairy Lingua to live together and no longer asked about these things. He has arranged everything. Byakuya, who has his own path and firm belief, will inherit Kanjiunya. He believes that Byakuya can suppress Kanjiunya, while Seshomaru will inherit Kanjiunya. He hopes that Seshomaru can understand what the heart of guardianship is and return it. The unborn half-demon Inuyasha inherited Tetsuya. Each of the three brothers happened to inherit his own weapon. Mingjia knew about it, Totosai also knew about it, and basically all the veterans already knew about Inu Admiral's arrangement. It doesn't matter if you retire with a human woman. That woman will only live for a few decades at most before she dies. Falling in love with a human will only hurt yourself. As expected, only stupid half-demon would be with a human. Together, Baiyi didn't really agree with this sentence at first, but later Baiyi discovered that after one of his former human friends died, his views changed. It turns out that only stupid half-demon would be with humans, because they are monsters, their lifespans are much longer than humans. In these troubled times, regardless of whether we encounter accidents or not, even if we live peacefully until old age, the average human being in this era is only around 30 years old, and those who live longer will only be 60 years old, watching his friends getting older, even as ugly as they were in old age, and wishing that he could turn them into monsters. Baiyi also saw clearly at that time that most human beings do indeed look at them when facing natural death. My former friend is still young, so maybe I really can't face it calmly, and to become friends with humans, you must be prepared for the other person to be one step ahead of you. Ahem, Master Shiroyasha can't say the same. Maybe Master Shiroyasha will fall in love with a human woman in the future. Me? I'm sorry, Mingjia, I may disappoint you. I don't want to see the person I like die in front of me, so I will never fall in love with a human in this life. Baiyi doesn't want the person she likes to leave her. Although there is pure gold in the pirate world, it is still unknown whether she can find it. It's not like he hasn't been to places where humans are, but he hasn't met anyone who makes his heart beat. After coming to this world, Baiyi only wants to practice and nothing else. Only by becoming stronger can he protect everything he wants to protect. By the way, Mingjia, what's the situation on the battlefield over there? That this war was probably the one when the leopard cat leader was killed by Inu Teisho. Later, with the birth of Inuyasha, first the dragon bone spirit, then the Setsuna Mengwan, Inu Teisho died just like that. In fact, Baiyi has always believed that Inu Teisho's death was somewhat hasty. Maybe he was injured when dealing with the Prokata. The master has the advantage for the time being, but the Prokata's strength should not be underestimated, and the master is under great pressure. If Master Bayasha goes to the battlefield, maybe he can get some relief. Mingjia actually wanted to persuade Baiyi to go to the battlefield to help Inu Teisho share the pressure, but before he came back, he got the order from Inu Teisho not to persuade Baiyi, and everything was decided by Baiyi himself. He has grown up, and Inu Teisho doesn't want to control any of Baiyi's decisions anymore. Is that so? Then go to the battlefield and tell the old man that I will come after I find Totosai and make weapons. Baiyi thought about it and finally decided to go to the battlefield, since he knew that Inu Teisho was going to die. Whether it was out of the love of raising him for so many years or changing the plot, Baiyi had to stop Inu Teisho's death. Thank you so much, Master Bayasha. Please put me down here. I will report to the master now. Yes. Hey. Master Bayasha, put me down. Don't throw me down. Baiyi was flying in the air and directly dropped him from a height of several hundred meters. Mingjia wanted to cry but had no tears. He definitely did it on purpose. Sorry, Mingjia, I forgot that you can't fly. Did you forget? Don't you know it? Mingjia didn't want to say more. His sadness was like a river. Compared with Seshomaru's violence, Baiyi's black-bellied character seemed to be inherited from his mother Lingua Fairy. Staying with him, he might be cheated at any time. After leaving Mingjia behind, Baiyi quickly flew to Dao Dao Zhai's residence until night. When Baiyi was about to stop to rest and catch some fish, the moonlight fell on the lake, and a figure was slowly sitting in the river. Clothes and a long sword were placed on the riverside. The whole body seemed to radiate holy spiritual power. Baiyi looked at the person in front of him and murmured unconsciously, which? Chapter 34 Fate, maybe we will never meet again. Please read, 4K chapter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 34, Fate, maybe we will never meet again. Please read, 4K chapter. Who? Cuizi looked towards Bei vigilantly. The slight sound she made just now made her discover the people peeking around. The spirit power sensed the demonic aura. Even if it was well hidden, it was a demon peeking around. After Cuizi finished speaking, Yinmu also looked towards Bei's position vigilantly. It was a little annoyed that it did not discover it in advance. If it was not for Cuizi's discovery, the demon would have attacked and might have injured Cuizi. Yinmu, help me entangle the other party for a while. After Cuizi finished speaking, Yinmu responded and immediately rushed towards Bei. Is she Cuizi? Bei glanced at the woman in the lake. He had seen her look familiar before. After hearing Yunmu's name, Bei also reacted. It was probably Cuizi. This era was a peaceful era. The demons were very strong, and there were also many strong humans, like Master Kukai, the shrine maiden Tsuko, Onmyoji Saimai, and the samurai who killed the big demon with a human body. Any strong man in this era would be a dominant existence in the Inuyasha era, but before he could think about it, Yinmu had already arrived in front of Bei, waving the claws in her hand to hit Bei. Tsuko is a shrine maiden, and the one who came is a demon. Yinmu naturally regarded Bei as an enemy, and since the other party approached quietly, it must want a sneak attack, so it certainly would not hold back. Too weak. According to the strength of the demons, Yinmu is only a third-rate demon, but it is quite fast. According to the timeline, Yinmu is probably in his infancy now. Bei knocked Yinmu down with one claw. When he was about to leave here the next second, Tsuko had changed into her combat uniform, holding a big sword, and looked at Bei with vigilance. I thought it was a weak monster, so I didn't notice its demonic aura. But after seeing its appearance, Cuizi also found that this monster seemed to have the potential to be a great monster, and it already had a perfect human form, but from the demonic aura on him, it seems that I have never seen Bai Yi before. His demonic aura is very strange, and it seems that he is not here to seek revenge, but when he came just now, it is likely that he saw his appearance. Although Cuizi is a witch, she can face anything calmly, but it is inevitable that a ripple flashes in her heart. Why did you come to the demon-killing village, monster? That the spiritual power bursting out of Cuizi, even Bai Yi felt a little scary. Is she worthy of being the strongest witch? Other witches fight with bows and arrows, or cast spells. Only Cuizi, holding a sword and fighting with monsters for many days in close combat, and finally fused with monsters to become the Four Souls Jade because of exhaustion. However, it seems that Cuizi didn't want to fight Bei directly. She didn't feel the bloody and evil breath from Bei. Cuizi hated evil and would definitely kill the evil monsters when facing them, and would not let them make trouble again, but she would not kill all monsters. There are good people and bad people, and there are good monsters and bad monsters, but even if she didn't sense the evil breath from the other party, she didn't dare to take it lightly. Monsters have treasures to disguise, and even they can disguise themselves. This person can come to her side without any sound, so he is not a simple monster. Walk over. Is this what she wants to know? When she heard Bei say this, Cuizi's vigilance in her heart became even worse. Which, I'll leave if it's okay. Bei thought about it and didn't want to get involved with Cuizi. Although Cuizi's appearance and figure had been deeply imprinted in his mind at the first glance, Bei knew very well that there would be no good results for monsters who were with witches. Miko and monsters are two opposites. Even if they love each other, they will only create a tragedy like Inuyasha and Kikyo. There are many examples in Inuyasha's world. Bai Yi didn't want to get entangled with the Miko. Looking at Bai Yi's departing back, Cuizi hesitated for a while, and finally put away the weapon in her hand. She didn't want to be an enemy of a monster with some strange strength. Since there was no evil breath on the other party, at least it didn't look like those monsters. The two turned their backs. Cuizi went south, Bai Yi went north, and finally before leaving, Bai Yi turned his head and looked behind him, only to see that the other party also turned his head and looked at Bai Yi. Looking at Cuizi's eyes, Bai Yi retracted his gaze in just a moment. Perhaps after this time, the two of them will almost never meet again, because the other party's fate is to become the Four Souls Jade. However, if he changed this plot, and Tsuko did not become the Four Souls Jewel, would it be considered a complete change of all the storylines of Inuyasha, and would it be considered a big change? Bai Yi thought about it silently in his heart, and finally decided to find Totosai first. Perhaps he would know only after waiting. If they were destined, they might meet. He didn't know if changing this time would change all the subsequent events, would it lead to a change in the plot, but it would only be counted as his one change of the plot. Wouldn't that be a loss? Let Kirara go. Cuizi patted Micah's little head, and finally withdrew his gaze and shook his head. He was also a little surprised in his heart. Why did he suddenly want to take a look at that strange monster? Yunmu rubbed Cuizi, and a trace of human apology flashed across his face. It was also sorry for what happened just now. If he could have discovered it earlier, maybe Cuizi wouldn't have experienced what just happened. It's okay, don't be sorry. I probably won't meet that guy again. I was a little careless myself. Cuizi smiled gently, thinking that maybe it was because she had been slacking off recently. He had already killed a number of monsters around him, and he instinctively thought that no monsters would dare to approach him, and if humans were around, Micah would definitely be able to find them. In the end, I didn't expect that such a monster would come, but what happened just now did have some ripples in her heart. The monster's face was like that of a handsome nobleman with a slender figure, even though neither of them deliberately talked about that matter just now, but Cuizi was certain that the other party must have seen it. She was a witch, but she was also a woman. Never mind that I probably won't meet him again, Cuizi sighed in her heart. At the same time, she also hoped that they would not meet each other again in the future. Maybe they would never meet again. She was a Miko and the other party was a monster. The relationship itself was hostile. Even if it was not hostile, it was not friendly. How could they see each other again? To the other party, thinking of this, she also withdrew her gaze, and then left the edge of the river. Micah, you should have a good rest in the next few days. In a few days, we will leave the demon-slaying village and go to the city lord to complete the demon-slaying mission. Chirp, Yunmu responded. Totosai, forge a sword for me. Master Byakusha, Totosai poked his head out of his swordsmith's shop and looked at Baiyi with some surprise. Then he was also very surprised when he discovered that Baiyi already had the power of a first-rate monster. I originally thought that Baiyi was a second-rate monster, and wanted to build a good weapon so that my strength could reach the top level with the help of the weapon, and then go to the battlefield to fight. It seems that he underestimated Baiyi. Did Master Byakusha bring any materials? Isn't it just my teeth? In the original novel, didn't Inuyasha use his own teeth to recreate Tetsuyasha? And Seshomaru, wouldn't it be enough to just throw in the teeth of an enlightened ghost? Why do you need other materials when you get here? Hearing Baiyi's answer, Totosai felt bad. Who told you that all you need to make a knife is teeth? Indeed, if it is a suitable knife, then naturally it only needs one tooth, but Totosai obviously does not want to make that kind of suitable knife for Baiyi. To make it, it is to make the best one that he can make at present, and the most suitable one. Bai's knife. Although Master Byakusha said so, making it with teeth is only the basis. If you want to incorporate some other characteristics, you will need other materials. For example, the diamond fragments of Boxiangui can make your sword. It becomes harder, and if some special demon power is integrated into the demon sword, it will have different characteristics. But if the demon power is incorporated too much, the sword will become very evil. It is also commonly known as the demon sword. The demon sword will bite back its owner, but the demon sword is also the most powerful of all knives. It can be regarded as having pros and cons. If Master Byakusha just wants a knife that looks okay, so Master Byakusha only needs your teeth. Totosai briefly explained the principles of knife making to Baiyi. He can help Baiyi integrate all of this, but the more power he integrates, the more problems may arise later. Of course, if Baiyi just needed a weapon made from his own teeth, he wouldn't have such troubles. That's it. I'll think about it if I need to find materials. Baiyi sat directly on the floor, held his forehead and began to think, what treasures are there in this world? It seems to be the diamond fragments of the treasure fairy ghost, but isn't this at best an iron-breaking version of the diamond gun? Byakuya didn't copy the Inu Admiral's weapon. Taisuya had some bugs, being able to absorb the monster's demonic power and then complete the evolution, but if you want to create this kind of weapon, it will obviously not be that simple. Monster Baiyi, everyone, help me think about it. I want to make a monster sword of my own. In addition to my teeth, what should I add to it? Perhaps, can I use treasures from another world? Pirate Byakuya, in the later stage, if I let Vegapunk figure out how to make the sword eat devil fruit, I wonder if I can enchant your weapon. The weapon ate the devil fruit, and later applied it after Vegapunk cracked the secret of the blood factor and studied it. Monster Bye, you can think about it. If possible, it would be best if this sword could eat the weapon fruit. The sword can be transformed into various weapons by eating the weapon fruit. Thinking about what happened next, Taisuya destroyed tens of thousands of demons with one blow. As a little boy, he destroyed a city in an instant. Sir, times have changed. Naruto Byakuya, do you want me to find Orochimaru for you to study? Yokai Byakuya, Orochimaru is not the main expert in this area. Besides, you will probably have to pay some price to find Orochimaru. Your own problems have not been solved yet, and the situation of the Uchiha clan is not very good. Although he felt that Orochimaru might give him some miracles, he didn't want to make it difficult for Byakuya in the Naruto world. The situation of the Uchiha clan has not yet been resolved. Naruto Byakuya, actually, I'm okay. The main thing is that Byakuya in the pirate world, you have to work hard. You should develop your thunder fruit and three-color haki. When I use force in the later stage, do you understand the gold content of a thunderbolt? Ah. The range of laying can directly destroy an empty island. His thunder can completely destroy Konoha. Pirate Bye, ahem, I'm working hard, don't be anxious. He finally discovered this thing, but it was a bit difficult to develop it. The main reason was that he didn't want to carry a drum that stores electricity on his back, so discharging it with bare hands would consume more, and although there are Enolu templates that can be used, he is developing it, but he feels that it is not easy to develop it. Daily Bay, I have nothing to give you here. What the hell? How come I don't just have no strength, I don't even have anything. If I'm poor, I'm still poor. Zombie Bay, speaking of which, do you want to add corpse energy and corpse poison to the knife? In addition, there is also a trace of pure spiritual energy that can be injected into the knife for fusion. You can then fuse your own demonic power into it, and then you can find treasures from your world and fuse them together. Naruto Byakuya, why do you even have corpse energy and corpse poison? Brother, have you taken the evil route? Zombie Bay, I am the only one in the whole sect now. Of course, there is also a senior sister who is missing. Originally, this sect leader should be the senior sister. This corpse energy and corpse poison should be saved by the previous leader who killed the evil way. Yes, although I don't know why I saved it, I can give it to you if you need it. This thing has passed for too long. It is estimated that it will become a zombie without being infected, but it can make people weak. It is similar to the effect of a curse, and the wound will be corroded by corpse poison and corpse energy for a long time and will not heal. I was originally planning to destroy it. If you want, I can give it to you. By the way, I will give you a trace of the spiritual power of the ancestor to help you. Suppression is all because I don't know Samadhi Shinhua. If I knew how to do this, I could help you practice it. Monster Bye, okay. Thank you very much. In addition, I am going to find the godly tree, a thing in this world that can travel through time and space. I wonder if merging it will have the ability to cut through time and space. P.S. Please give me a monthly ticket for recommendation and reward. Chapter 35 4 Souls Jade. Goodbye Cuizi. Please read the 4K chapter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 35 4 Souls Jade. Goodbye Cuizi. Please read the 4K chapter. Bye summarized what he could integrate into his sword, corpse chi and corpse poison. According to the zombie Bye, this thing is to prohibit recovery and debuff effects. As for the effect of turning the opponent into a zombie, it seems to be gone. A trace of spiritual energy is to suppress corpse poison, and at the same time, spiritual energy attached to the weapon can cause great damage to monsters and ghosts. Add the imperial sacred tree that he will find later, and integrate the three powers. Bye feels that it is almost done. In the later stage, if the sword can eat a devil fruit, and it is a weapon fruit, this sword will be considered a big success. Date Ozai, I have probably thought of the materials. I will give them to you later. In addition to those materials, there are also my teeth, right? Master Bayasha needs your demonic power. After injecting your demonic power, you will be more comfortable using this sword. During the casting period, Baiye's demonic power will be injected into it. In the later stage, there will be a special induction between the sword and the person, and it will be better in this aspect, Date Ozai patiently explained to Baiye, and at the same time, he was a little curious about what materials Baiye would find to make the demonic sword. I understand. I will come here to find you in a while. Okay, Master Bayasha. After Daedaosai finished speaking, he no longer paid attention to Baiye. He lowered his head and began to forge a new weapon. Recently, the Dog Demon clan is at war with the Leopard Cat clan. He needs to work hard to make weapons. It doesn't need to be too good, but it can't be too bad. It's not that much leisure to invite Baiye to stay for a cup of tea. After Baiye left, he immediately prepared to get the Imperial God Tree. The location of the Imperial God Tree was not difficult to find. In fact, most people knew about the existence of the Imperial God Tree. This tree has existed for many years. Baiye has high hopes for the Imperial God Tree. The well made by the Imperial God Tree will naturally disappear when the monsters are thrown into it. It also has the function of time travel. Although it needs the Four Souls Jade as a medium, it also has the ability to seal time. What's even more amazing is that this tree can survive for so long. This tree looks like a treasure. It is indeed rare for monsters or even humans to take advantage of it. Maybe it's because they don't know much about its effect. But in fact, Baiye himself doesn't know whether the Imperial God Tree has an effect, and how to integrate the Imperial God Tree into the knife is also a problem. Will he make himself a peachwood sword? Just as Baiye was thinking about how to go next, he suddenly raised his head and looked forward. Not far away, a figure was gradually walking towards him, and he didn't seem to notice it at all. Such pure demonic power. On Myoji, Baiye raised his head and glanced at the person who came. There was a boy following him. Ah, how about we go our separate ways, demon? The Onmyoji raised his head, and the wind lifted the cover on his hat, and a handsome and gentle face instantly appeared in front of Baiye, but this also made Baiye instinctively disgusted. It was as if he hated the existence of this guy, and he said that we go our separate ways. Since the last time, the witch saw that he did not make a move, and now the Onmyoji did not make a move. Tsuko's strength can kill him, but if Baiye does not want to fight, Tsuko can't kill him. With the Thunder Fruit, he can run away at any time, and he also has a Mangekyo. However, in terms of hard power, Tsuko is definitely better than him, but if you add all kinds of strange abilities, it is not certain who will kill whom. Shouldn't the Onmyoji be in Heiankyo? How come you have time to come to such a small mountain village? It is very close to the village where the sacred tree is. Onmyoji like this would never appear here. In this era, Onmyoji is definitely a unique existence compared to samurai, monks and shrine maidens. Only nobles can afford Onmyoji, and Onmyoji are probably a minority. Those who can become Onmyoji are all geniuses among 10,000. Baiye can feel that even if the other party did not deliberately target him, his strength must be much stronger than Cuizi who he met last time. It's a good time to relax. It's boring to stay in Heiankyo all the time. Then we will leave first. As he said that, the man and the servants beside him also disappeared from the spot. The meaningful look of this guy before he left. Baiye was ready to fight, but the other party just left, and before leaving, the meaningful look of the other party did make Baiye feel a little uncomfortable. Sure enough, he still needs to improve his strength. At the beginning, after he was promoted to a first-class monster, Baiye was still a little complacent. In the monster world, his talent is already very strong. After all, even Seshomaru is much slower than him, but after coming out, Tsuko at the beginning and the current Onmyoji also made Baiye understand that this era is not the era of Inuyasha. In that era, he could be complacent, but not this time. This world can no longer be viewed as the world in the fixed Inuyasha plot. Retracting his gaze, Baiye looked at the small village not far away, where the sacred tree was located. he had to quickly build a weapon for himself and then participate in the war of the Leopard Cat clan. Master, why didn't you take action just now? After leaving, the boy looked at Qingming. It was obvious that this monster had very pure demon power and was a very good target. It would not be difficult to catch him at that time. In the world of monsters, powerful monsters do not necessarily have pure monsters. There are relatively few monsters with pure monsters, and Tongzi also knows that Qingming has his own plan, and he especially needs monsters like this. It's not that time yet. Qingming shook his head, looked behind him with a smile in the direction where he had just met Bai Yi, and couldn't help but sigh. This time I came out not only to meet a suitable Miko, but also to find a monster. I originally thought that if there was no suitable one. Monsters, then you can use complex monsters to make them less perfect. Abe Saimai was even a little lucky that he came out on a whim and found a suitable candidate. Does it need to be raised for a while? After the boy finished speaking, he asked curiously, aren't you worried that the monster will die? That guy should be the son of General Inu. I originally wanted to use General Inu, but that guy's demonic power is too strong and may suppress the spirit inside, so his son is quite suitable. But if he dies, that's fine. It's destiny. Abe Saimai believes in fate, and he has already calculated everything, to complete this matter at a specific time and at a specific place. If Bai Yi dies at that time, then this is fate, and he will not change his fate easily. In that case, is this still the perfect Jade you are pursuing, Master? Life is not perfect. Abe Saimai shook his head, the Four Souls Jade. If it can be perfect, of course he hopes to have perfection, but unfortunately life is not that perfect. You don't have to pursue perfection, it is already lucky to meet Bai Yi this time. If the other party can become part of his Four Souls Jade with Cuizi in the future, it will be perfect, but if not, as long as Cuizi is there, it's not easy to find a suitable Miko. At the sacred tree, Bai Yi looked at the figure of the woman in front of him, and a trace of surprise flashed in his eyes. I originally thought that we would never meet again after the last time we met on the edge of the lake. But fate seems to really play tricks on him, and he meets Cuizi again. Cuizi turned her head to look at Bai Yi if she felt something. Monster, a trace of surprise flashed across her calm face, and then she seemed to have thought of something, and her face returned to calm after a flash of blush. Bai Yi glanced at Cuizi, and Yunyu on the other side had already stood up, staring at Bai Yi warily. Obviously, it is someone who has already regarded Bai Yi as a stalker, otherwise it couldn't be such a coincidence. Bai Yi didn't speak, looked at the godly tree, then jumped on the godly tree, broke off one of its branches, and prepared to leave, but the moment he got the branch, Bai Yi couldn't help but frown. When it was broken, the branch seemed to have lost its original magic power, and it looked like a very, very ordinary branch. After the branches of the sacred tree are broken, they will lose their original effect, if there are no special preservation methods. You know, Bai Yi turned around and looked at Cuizi. Originally, he didn't want to have much interaction with Cuizi. The fate of this Miko is related to many lottery opportunities in the later stage, but Cuizi's words really made Bai Yi a little curious. Indeed, he had been thinking before he came, why doesn't anyone in Yashima Club make any plans? Although not everyone may know the effect of this thing, but some people must know, then it will definitely be cut down and taken away, but the sacred tree still exists here. After he personally cut off the branch of the godly tree, the other party not only recovered quickly, but the branch in his hand also lost its original effect. I thought you were mute. Cuizi muttered in her heart. She was a little embarrassed just now. After all, no matter how strong her heart was, she couldn't calmly deal with what happened last time, but Bai Yi's attitude of not caring, even ignoring herself, made Cuizi feel a little different. This is why she suddenly spoke to remind Bai Yi just now. She wanted to see if Bai Yi encountered a problem and she had a solution, would he choose to leave or ask for help? The result was just as she expected. Bai Yi asked herself. I know, but why should I tell you? That is this Cuizi. A trace of surprise flashed in Bai Yi's eyes. There was basically no description of Cuizi in the original novel. Bai Yi has always thought that her personality is similar to that of Kikyo. I need to get a batch of branches of the godly tree to build a well. If you help me transport these branches, I can give you a branch that preserves the power of the godly tree before I leave. Cuizi stated her conditions. This kind of straight ball girl is surprisingly easy to get along with. Bai originally wanted to leave, but instead of discussing with the woman what he was going to do for her, it was better to just turn around and leave. He would not be submissive to a woman because of this matter, but Cuizi made a direct request. In exchange, she would give Bai a sacred tree that preserved her power. Bai felt as if he was being controlled. He actually wanted to leave. After all, he was not helping her carry firewood. He was the eldest son of Dog City. When had he ever done such a thing? But everyone is here, and if I don't just leave, it seems like there is something missing. Just move there. After taking a look at the firewood, I realized that it was just a little bit and could be solved in one go. And help me dig a well, so I can save a lot of time. Cuizi's eyes lit up. Although this branch was not difficult for her, if someone helped, she could save a lot of time. She wants to use the sacred tree to build a well, because there have been a lot of monsters in the village here recently. Although many of them have been eliminated, whether the corpses of the monsters are piled up here or buried, there will still be monsters appearing, and these monsters will also attract more monsters. This feels like a vicious cycle, so Cuizi plans to use the trees of the goddess tree to build a bone-eating well, and then all the monster corpses can be thrown into the well. Using the characteristics of the goddess tree, the corpses of the monsters will slowly disappear, and the problems that plague the villagers will disappear. Will be resolved. Then it's settled. Let's start now. Treat it as a deal between the two of us. Kindness, the deal sounds a lot better. Bai glanced at Cuizi in surprise. Does this woman know what she is thinking? It's just a matter of moving some branches, which he doesn't find difficult. Besides, he can't solve the problem of the sacred tree, so he can only get help from Cuizi through transactions. Does this well need so much sacred wood? Bai has moved it no less than 4 times, and the trees have all been piled up, but Cuizi is still not satisfied. Because there's something special about this well. Then, Cuizi also told Bai the purpose of building this well. After listening to Cuizi's description, Bai finally knew and was cooperating with them to build the bone-eating well here. No wonder this well is so powerful in the original work and is also related to the 4 souls Jade. Is it all Cuizi's fault? Speaking of which, ordinary people really can't do this well. After transporting all the sacred trees and fixing the frame and everything else, Cuizi's spiritual power seemed to be communicating with the sacred trees. A burst of dazzling white light shone, and Cuizi's hair began to float upwards in the white light, but Bai felt a heart-stopping spiritual power. No wonder this woman could fight so many monsters for so long. This spiritual power felt very permeable just standing next to her. On the other hand, the woman, bathed in the holy light, suddenly felt blessed by a special attribute. No wonder men have extra enthusiasm for certain professions. Chapter 36 Cuizi, this dog doesn't look like a good demon. Please read it, 4K chapter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 36, Cuizi, this bitch doesn't look like a demon. Please read, 4K big chapter. Enough. In just an instant, Cuizi's spiritual power dissipated, and her aura became a little more sluggish. Hearing the voice behind her, Cuizi turned her head, nodded weakly, and said, "Okay, wait for me here, and I will get you the branches of the sacred tree." This woman, are you going to have your back handed to you like this? Isn't she afraid that he will take the opportunity to sneak attack her? It seems that this woman is a being that many monsters want to kill. Is she too naive to give her back to this monster, or is she testing herself? Some thoughts flashed through Bai's mind, and he watched Cuizi leave. An hour later, just when Bai thought Cuizi had run away, Cuizi came to Bai with mica and the sacred tree, and handed the sacred tree to Bai. The power above, I've sealed it up, you can just take it back, and give this lunch to you. I've been busy all day. I will not eat. Bai just took the branch of the goddess tree. As for the lunch box Cuizi handed him, he refused without thinking. No. This is what the villagers want. I can't finish it by myself, so I just happened to bring you your share. You have to eat it no matter what, otherwise it will be wasted. Cuizi looked at Bai with burning eyes, obviously hoping that Bai could eat the lunch. although he said that he had given the branches of the sacred tree as payment, he worked for a long time, including moving and building wells, so that the project that originally took several days was completed in one day, and the villagers also prepared meals. The good thing was handed over to Cuizi. Originally, she wanted to invite Cuizi to the village for dinner, but considering Bai Yi, she refused. This is what he wants anyway, how can Bai Yi refuse? Cuizi stuffed the lunch box into her hands in a semi-forced manner. Ah! It's so rich, you think it's so meaty. Bai Yi glanced at the lunch box, then raised his head and glanced at Cuizi. This girl seemed to be a little smart. Is she really the Tsuko shrine maiden who can fight monsters for days and hate evil with hatred? She doesn't look much different from an ordinary little girl, right? However, according to the comics, Cuizi's death seems to have something to do with the man who had a crush on her. There were many men who had a crush on Cuizi, but one of them had great evil intentions in his heart. In the end, he merged with the monster and introduced Cuizi into the cave. In the cave, Cuizi fought with the monster for 7 days and 7 nights. When he finally lost his strength and was about to be swallowed by the monster, Cuizi burst out his last spiritual power and merged the monster and himself into the Jade of 4 souls. Even if the body dies, the soul is still fighting monsters inside the Shirkan Tama. From the looks of it, it seems to be slightly similar to Nariku and Kikyo's start. What kind of monster are you? And what are you doing wearing cotton wool? Aren't you hot? This is my tail. Bai Yi said lightly, and then looked at Cuizi to take her hand off. Hey, it's quite soft. Cuizi smiled coquettishly and retracted his hand in embarrassment. Dog demon. Cuizi suddenly realized that judging from this characteristic, the opponent seemed to be from the dog demon clan. Kindness. Bai Yi nodded and then opened the lunch box. Although it was not as rich as Cuizi said, Bai Yi hesitated and finally took a bite. Look, can't you eat it too? Has anyone ever told you that you talk a lot? Miko and monsters are hostile. After what happened to the godly tree, we may be enemies, so don't. Before Bai Yi finished speaking, Cuizi interrupted him directly. Look, this is actually your prejudice. Humans and monsters are not necessarily enemies, and humans, monsters and monsters are not necessarily friends. I just want to find someone to talk to. If you find me annoying, then I'll just stop talking. Still a chatterbox, Bai Yi put another label on Cuizi in her heart, but Cuizi was a little disappointed in her heart. As a powerful witch, everyone in the human world respected and admired her. The monsters are afraid of her and want to kill her. Cuizi sometimes feels lonely. Having the power to protect everything and being respected by the people he protects has created a barrier between the two parties. The acquaintance with Bai Yi was indeed a bit unexpected, but this time after the two helped each other, Cuizi thought that they should be considered friends, but Bai Yi's attitude just now made Cuizi understand that the other person didn't seem to want to be friends with her. Can monsters and humans really not be friends? For a moment, Cuizi also fell into confusion, but the next second her eyes became firm, and she already had a belief in her heart. She raised her head and looked at Bai Yi while eating. Is there something wrong with this woman? That he had to stare at himself while eating. Bai Yi ate without looking at Cuizi, but several times he subconsciously wanted to see if Cuizi was still staring at him. The result was obvious. After not speaking, Cuizi stared at Bai Yi instead, which made him feel a little embarrassed. Monster Bai Yi, brothers, I seem to be targeted by a woman. How should I get rid of her? Naruto Byakuya, what the hell? Are you going to be single so soon? Brother envy you. Pirate Byakuya, who is it? Monster Byakuya, Tsuko. And I'm not single, I just feel this woman is a bit fierce. Daily Byakuya, yo. Tsuko who created the 4 souls Jade. You can do it, brother, what are you afraid of? Just go for it. Let's have a love story between a monster and a Miko during the Warring States period. Do you even need to think about it? Isn't it over if you don't just go for it? Monster Byakuya, no. Humans will die in 100 years, I don't care about love. Pirate Byakuya, wait for me to get you pure gold, don't worry, just go for it if you like it, why worry about lifespan? At worst, put it in the sacred tree. Hokage Byakuya, it's impolite to be so stubborn. Inuyasha world, he wanted to explain, but in the end he didn't know what to say. Didn't he want to fall in love with Tsuko? Didn't he ask them to think of a way to get rid of Tsuko when he just joined the chat group? Raising his head, he looked at Cuizi again, only to see that she was still staring at him with burning eyes. Bai asked helplessly, what do you want to do? Let's be friends. Cuizi wanted to have a friend with whom she could talk. The kind that can talk and occasionally help each other, just like just now, and I'm just about to travel around the world, are you willing to join me? Cuizi didn't do it on a whim, but had always wanted to walk around the world, but on the one hand, it was because the matter of the demon-killing village was not arranged well, and on the other hand, traveling alone was not what Cuizi wanted, so she finally suppressed this idea, but now that Bai is here, she wants to be friends with Bai. And then travel around the world with her friends, and she can actually see that Bai, like herself, has a lonely soul, maybe both of them long for friends in their hearts. I'm sorry, Dad. It seems that I need to travel around before I can go to your side. Bai was silent for a moment. Facing Cuizi's expectant eyes, Bai felt that Inuyasha should be able to hold up. I might not be able to help much if I go there now. It seems that I should travel around first and then go to the battlefield after my strength is improved. Moreover, he is actually a little curious about what changes will happen after he participates in Cuizi's life. Friend, in this world of monsters, Bai is indeed unique. As the son of the Dog General and the eldest master of the Dog City, his status is already an insurmountable gap with many people. There are always flattering monsters around him, or they are afraid of him and the Dog General behind him. Even Seshomaru is actually competing with Bai most of the time. My name is Cuizi, what's yours? Bayasha. Yeah, Bayasha, what type of dog monster are you, that you don't have to speak if you can't? Bai turned his head and stared at Cuizi. Did this woman call him a dog? Although it seems to be true. It should be a big white dog, right? Look at your tail, it's all white. It seems that because of the first friend, Cuizi's words opened up all of a sudden. Even Yunmu, who was standing by, was a little surprised by Cuizi's many words today. Cuizi, don't touch my tail. Cuizi turned her head, as if she had opened some threshold, and her hand unconsciously touched it. The more she felt forbidden, the more she wanted to touch it, but she thought that she finally had a friend. If she scared Bai away like this, wouldn't it be a loss? The reason why Bai chose to travel with Cuizi was, on the one hand, because Cuizi's words really hit Bai's heart, and he also longed for a friend who could talk. On the other hand, he wanted to see if Cuizi would become the Four Souls Jade later if he intervened. Anyway, there were Bai in other worlds. In the later stage, he could rely on their abilities to become stronger, even if Cuizi did not become the Four Souls Jade and affected the plot a lot. What's more, there are still many years before the Four Souls Jade opens the plot, so there is no rush. The last point is Cuizi's strong strength. Bai originally just wanted to get some branches of the sacred tree back, but now with Cuizi, he can find some big monsters to ask for something. Since he wants to make a good sword, he can collect everything he can. Bai is naturally not going to change this sword. Then let's start today. Is there a place you want to go? Cuizi wanted to ask Bai's opinion first. If it were her, she would probably start wandering aimlessly. Moonlight Island. Is there any reason to go there? Cuizi asked curiously. I need to forge a demon sword. Bai finished speaking, and seeing Cuizi still looking at him blankly, Bai continued to explain. Every 50 years, the barrier of Moonlight Island will weaken, and taking advantage of this weakening opportunity, the four fighting gods will attack here. I want to kill the four fighting gods and make them part of my demon sword. That if the demon sword is forged with the corpse of the big demon, this is naturally great. At that time, I was also worried that my strength was not enough to deal with the four fighting gods, so I didn't think too much, but if Cuizi and I are together, with Cuizi's strength, the two of them can completely deal with the four fighting gods. So you think of me as a thug? Cuizi looked at Bai with faint eyes. She finally understood that this guy regarded herself as a thug. Don't you hate evil as much as you hate it? The four gods of fighting kill innocent people indiscriminately. You are doing harm for the people, and I am also doing harm for the people. We are both, and we both have a bright future. I didn't expect you to be such a big dog, this guy. You can tell at a glance that she is a sultry person, which is not right. Maybe she is aware of it, but she has just been holding it in before. Cuizi, aren't you afraid? Who said I'm scared? I've also heard of the four gods of fighting. In that case, let's set off. Looking at Cuizi's back, Baiyi snickered in his heart. The provoking method was really effective on such an inexperienced little girl, but don't pretend to be cold. I feel a lot more relaxed all over. Sure enough, it would be really uncomfortable to imitate Seshomaru and pretend to be cold every day, or it would be easier to return to one's own nature. No, you are just using me. As Cuizi walked, the more she thought about it, the more something was wrong. She always felt that Baiyi was just uneasy and kind-hearted. This big dog looks like a monster at first glance. We are friends, how can we say we are using it? If you think about it differently, we are going to kill those evil monsters together, and then you will definitely have to purify these monsters in the end. Since you have to purify them, why not use them as waste, right? Is this the truth? You killed the evil monster, I took the corpse of the monster that was useless to you, and we saved Penglai Island. The villagers on the island will thank you, and you will receive praise. How wonderful! Why haven't I seen you talk so much before? Cuizi muttered, but didn't refute anything. Thinking about it differently, it seemed that it was exactly what Baiyi said. After talking to Cuizi, one person and two demons quickly flew towards Penglai Island. Baiyi, Yinyu is tired, can I come with you on your tail? No. Baiyi looked at Cuizi with shining eyes and refused without thinking. This bitch can tell at a glance that she's having a bad idea. Baiyi. You don't want to be unable to go to Penglai Island because of wasting time, right? Cuizi said sadly. After getting along with each other for the past few days, her relationship with Baiyi has become much better. It is also understood that Baiyi is just a group of guys who look cold on the outside, but are sullen and sinister on the inside. Cuizi, on the other hand, is a bit talkative and also a bit sinister. I can't do it with my tail, but I should be able to carry you. Hey, put me down. Carrying Cuizi on his shoulders, the panic in Cuizi's eyes flashed away, and he struggled for a while, secretly thinking that this plot was wrong. Seeing Cuizi's appearance, Baiyi smiled inwardly. Why would he threaten himself just like that? P.S. Please give me a monthly ticket for recommended reading. Chapter 37 Immerse yourself in the darkness of the kaleidoscope. Please read it later, 4K chapter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 37, Immerse yourself in the darkness of the kaleidoscope. Please read, 4K big chapter. What? Someone has become mute. I didn't expect you to be such a monster. Although Baiyi's face was calm, the hint of cunning in his eyes was still caught by Cuizi. At the beginning, when they met for the first time, she rated Baiyi as a gentleman. Although she accidentally saw him, he behaved very seriously afterwards, and even Cuizi didn't think about it anymore. When they met for the second time in Yushinwo, she discovered the difference in Baiyi and thought that she could become friends with Baiyi. His image was more like a real person. Like herself, he was also lonely, so she was I think the two of them are the same kind, but this time, she understood, and she completely overturned all her evaluations of Baiyi in her heart. Those before were all just disguises, and he was just a shameless little monster. But aren't you also happy to be bullied by me like this? Baiyi said calmly. I don't, Cuizi immediately retorted, but isn't this what she wants? She wants to have a friend who can talk to each other, have a friend who can play with each other, and have a friend who can open her heart anytime and anywhere without having to put on that cold front. You are stronger than me. If you want to resist, I can't carry you so easily. After Baiyi uses all kinds of weird abilities, Cuizi will not be his opponent. The ability of the thunder fruit alone is not something that ordinary humans can withstand. but Cuizi's hard power is higher than his own. At least according to the realm of the monster world, Cuizi has the strength of a big monster. If she didn't want to be carried by him, it would be easy to break free. She couldn't use the Sharingan to hypnotize her or use the Thunder Fruit to subdue her if she wanted to break free, right? It was obvious that she didn't struggle, so Bai Yi could carry her so easily. I just think you are a friend, but I also hope you will treat me as a friend. Cuizi explained angrily that she wanted Bai Yi to treat her as a friend, so she didn't resist and had no other intentions. Well, actually we can become friends, but I think we should have one more child to maintain our friendship. What do you think? Before Bai Yi could finish speaking, Cuizi's fist hit Bai Yi directly on the head. Kaka, Bai Yi's head instantly turned into thunder and lightning, which shocked Cuizi. She didn't use much force just now, she just wanted to stop Bai Yi from continuing to talk. Wouldn't she blow his head off? Cuizi, you are so cruel. I regard you as a friend, but you actually blew my head off. I didn't mean it, so how do you recover now? A trace of anxiety flashed across Cuizi's face. This was the first time she had seen such a thing. Bai Yi's wound was covered with thunder and lightning, and there was no sign of recovery, no way. His first friend was beaten to death by himself. There is a legend among our dog demon clan that the head will only be cracked by the destined person. If you can kiss the destined person, the head will be restored. This Cuizi had never heard of such a weird thing, but when she heard Bai Yi's sincere tone and the half of her face that still hadn't recovered, she gritted her teeth and closed her eyes and said, "Come on. Man of destiny, are they destined to be destined?" Cuizi couldn't help but feel a wave of emotion in her heart. No matter how powerful Amiko was, she was still a girl at heart, especially Amiko like her who had been feared by others since she was a child. However, after waiting for a long time, Cuizi still didn't wait for Bai Yi's action, but the wind still hit Cuizi's face while flying, proving that Bai Yi was still alive. Cuizi opened her eyes and looked at Bai Yi who had recovered as before, and the teasing smile in her eyes. She knew she had been tricked. "Sorry, this is just an ability." "Does it scare you?" Bai Yi said, secretly thinking that it was a pity. He just admitted that he was indeed a little moved, but he couldn't take advantage of this moment to kiss her. If Cuizi found out later that he was lying to her, she would probably kill him. "You are a vile bastard," Cuizi said, twisting and falling directly from Bai Yi's body, and her body began to fall rapidly from the air. Yunyu caught Cuizi in time. "Micah, let's fly faster." With that said, she turned her head and ignored Bai Yi. Looking at her back, a trace of doubt flashed in Bai Yi's eyes. It was strange. Did he respect her just now? Taking advantage of others' danger is not what he wants to do. Monster Bai Yi, this is strange. Brothers, do you think there is something wrong with this woman? As he spoke, he also briefly told what happened with Cuizi before. Pirate Byakuya, fuck. Brother, the Thunder Fruit has created such a good opportunity for you, but you don't cherish it? Naruto Byakuya, women are like this, you can't be a beast, you can't be worse than a beast. Daily Bay, Cuizi, my eyes are closed, you don't care if I lied to me, you kissed me first. Just like you lie to a girl that your cat can do a backflip. If a girl is willing to fall for such a bad excuse, doesn't that prove that she is interested in you? Who doesn't know that cats can't do a backflip? It's just an excuse, just like that kisser. Cuizi might have seen through it, but you actually gave up. It's a waste of money. Monster Bai Yi, I know, I have never been in love, and only stupid half-demons will be with humans. Pirate Bai Yi, as we all know, the originator of this famous saying is already with a human. Hokage Bai Yi, Inu Teisho, right. Monster World, Bai Yi scratched his hair, looked at Tsuko who was flying farther and farther away, and hurriedly chased after her. Are you angry? Tsuko ignored Bai Yi and looked forward, as if Bai Yi did not exist. Why are you angry? Strange, why do I suddenly feel like I am coaxing my girlfriend? The dead memory suddenly attacked Bai Yi. Aren't I and Tsuko friends? I'm not angry, I just think it's childish for you to tease me with this kind of joke. I treat you as a good friend, but you treat me like this. Tsuko turned her head and said seriously, she really thought that what Bai said was right, and she was about to let Bai kiss her, but later she found out that Bai was playing tricks on her. How could she not be angry? Although she was angry in her heart, it was only for a while. After thinking about it, she told Bai the reason why she was angry. She didn't want Bai to guess. I saw that you were too bored, so I just thought of this fun and did it. Do you know how worried I was about you just now? Cuizi widened her eyes and raised her hand to punch Bai again, but she thought about it and put it down. You can turn any part of your body into lightning. That she suddenly remembered that after Bai was hit by her just now, countless lightning snakes appeared directly at the position of his head. This strange ability was the first time Cuizi had seen it. Well, what's wrong? Nothing. Cuizi subconsciously glanced at it, then turned her head away, and the other side of her face was already flushed. She quickly suppressed the little thoughts in her mind, but she was still very curious. Wouldn't that be? Hold it. Bai had a cold face and almost couldn't hold it. I didn't expect you to drive a small train so smoothly. Your eyes can drive a car, sob. I'm just curious. Cuizi, are you humans so fierce? Cuizi also broke Bai's perception of humans. I thought that in ancient times, humans were at least more reserved. It's not fierce, everyone would be curious about this kind of thing. But others are curious about ability, and you are curious about something completely different. Anyway, that's it. I don't want to think about this now. When will we get to Moonlight Island? What a poor ability to change the subject. Bai looked at Cuizi, who was asking irrelevant questions, and knew that Cuizi didn't want to continue talking about this topic with him. Well, just keep it for now and bring it up as Cuizi's black history in the future. It should be almost there. I have seen those 4 guys. See? Cuizi turned her head in confusion. She was also in the air and didn't see anything at all. Although she was confused, she just thought it was some means of Bai as a monster, and Bai didn't explain. Under the domineering blessing of the thunder fruit, Bai's reconnaissance range was very wide, and even the sounds on Moonlight Island could be heard clearly. In fact, Bai had sensed the situation there from a long distance. The situation on the island seems to be very bad. Those guys seem to have taken the initiative. It seems that it is coming to an end. In the perception, many half-demons on Moonlight Island died in the killing of the 4 fighting gods, and the only witch Zoji was also in a disadvantage at this moment. Then go over quickly. Cuizi looked at Bai in surprise, and then hurriedly said, it seems that it would be good for me if this big dog went out with me to eliminate monsters. He knew what the situation was over there before he even saw the other party. He was a top scout. Is it the witch on Moonlight Island? After getting closer, Cuizi also saw Zoji fighting the monster. Zoji's spiritual power is very strong, but when facing the 4 big monsters of the 4 fighting gods, it is obvious that she is a little powerless. Brother, it seems that other people have come. Gong Luo turned his head and looked behind him to remind him. He smelled a smell that he hated from Bai. As soon as Gang Luo finished speaking, Long Luo, Ji Luo and Shou Luo all turned their heads to look in the direction he said. TSK, is it the smell of that stinky dog, the son of that bastard? A gloomy flashed across Long Luo's face, and he thought of the scene of being defeated by the dog general just now. Because they were defeated by the dog general, the 4 brothers chose to come to Moonlight Island, just to take away the treasures here, and then go back to fight with the dog general. The 4 brothers have reached the extreme of their disgust for the dog general, and now there is another dog demon with a breath similar to that of the dog general. There is another shrine maiden, it seems to be Tsuko. Big brother, the situation is a bit bad. The dog demon is only a first-class demon, but Tsuko who followed is very powerful. Tsuko has a great reputation in the demon world. There are very few demon hunters who can surpass her at this time, and only Abe Haruaki, who is known as the strongest Onmyoji in the Heian period, can do it. Hyunjin is known as the safest place. No monster dares to come here to cause trouble. Although there will be monsters in the Demon Slayer village guarded by Cuizi, there are relatively few. The sudden stop of the 4 fighters made Suaji, who was under great pressure, feel relieved. At the same time, She followed the gaze of the four fighters and looked in by Ye's direction, a strange combination of two monsters and a Miko. However, Tsumoji didn't feel any sense of disobedience at all. Perhaps it had something to do with the fact that she protected other demigods and Yukai here on Horai Island. Kid, are you the son of General Inu? Long Luo looked at Bai Yi and asked directly without any hesitation, if so, then let's get rid of the other party together. Ah, the four gods of war still come here to vent their anger on the half-demon after losing. You bastard. I will definitely kill you. Zhu Luo had the most violent temper. After hearing Bai Ye's somewhat mocking words, he couldn't help but want to fight Bai Yi, even if he was defeated by Inu Deus Ho. You, a top-notch Yukai, can still taunt him. Do not worry. Ji Luo stopped Zhu Luo. He was a general advisor among the four gods of fighting. Faced with Juro's attempt to change targets as if he had lost his mind, he quickly stopped him. If only one monster had come by Byakuya, he wouldn't have to think so much, but now that a more powerful Miko came, of course he couldn't let Zhu Luo act so recklessly. Cuizi. What are you doing here? Ji Luo and the other three demons looked at each other, and for a moment they exchanged glances. Ryura said that he could deal with Cuizi, and then Yora went to deal with Byakuya, and then Gora and Jira continued to deal with Suji. The four people have a clear division of labor. As long as one person is eliminated first, the situation in front of them can be broken instantly. Exorcism. After Cuizi finished speaking, the four gods of fighting immediately started taking action. Now that we know we are enemies, we should strike first. Kid, I'll kill you first, and then I'll kill General Inu later. Zhu Luo flew directly towards Bai Yi and punched him directly. In his opinion, Bai Yi was just a first-class monster, and it was easy to deal with it. Be careful, Ji Luo reminded. Your opponent is me. Long Luo held Wind Blade Fang and Thunder Blade Fang and blocked Cuizi from the front. In their opinion, among the three of them, Suji is already at the end of his strength, Bai Yi is the weakest, and Cuizi is the strongest. It is up to them to hold him back. Once the three brothers are free, it will be easy to deal with Cuizi. So before that, Cuizi couldn't let Cuizi ruin their good deeds. How scary. A trace of ridicule flashed at the corner of Bai Ye's mouth, and a pair of kaleidoscopes appeared in the pupils of his eyes. Then, in the eyes of Zoro, a kaleidoscope also appeared. Immerse yourself in the darkness of the kaleidoscope. Chapter 38, There has never been such a wonderful start. Please read it, 4K chapter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 38, Never has there been such a wonderful start. Please read, 4K big chapter. Zhu Luo, what are you doing? Seeing Zhu Luo motionless in mid-air, Ji Luo turned his head and wanted to go to support, but the next second he was stopped by Cuizi holding a long sword. Your opponent is me. Although she was a little surprised, she also knew that this might be Bai Ye's method. Otherwise, it would be impossible for Zhu Luo to remain dull in place, and from Cuizi's point of view, she actually saw that Zhu Luo's eyes had the same pattern as Bai Ye's pupils. Is it another ability she doesn't know about? Brontosaurus. Part of his physical strength was instantly withdrawn, and the giant dragon formed by thunder and lightning instantly swallowed the beast. This is not the world of One Piece. There are very few people who can eat a 60 million volt and become immortal. Moreover, the person who eats the immortal is Wang Luffy. Even in the battle at the top, Akainu killed Ace with one punch. After all, the people in that world are indeed strong, but they are not able to withstand it completely, unless they use their domineering force. 60 million volts, enough to kill a monster. The thunder dragon did not stop after devouring Zhu Luo. Under Bai Ye's control, it flew towards Gang Luo, the biggest target here. Be careful Gangra, Ji Luo shouted, but as soon as he finished speaking, Thunder Dragon had already collided with Gang Luo. Boom. The Thunder Dragon exploded, and Gang Luo's demon blood spilled all over the ground from his forehead. This Thunder Dragon can't kill me at all. Now I want to avenge my brother. A trace of hatred flashed in Gang Luo's eyes. He resisted, but his brother Zhou Luo exploded and even his body disappeared. The first one blocked it, so what about the second one? The second Thunder Dragon formed instantly, and then flew directly towards Gang Luo's original blasted wound. Looking at the thunder dragon flying over, Gang Luo subconsciously wanted to hide in his turtle shell, but the thunder dragon did not give Gang Luo a chance and swallowed Gang Luo in an instant. Compared to the first blue brontosaurus, the second brontosaurus shining with purple-black lightning is obviously more destructive. Help me! As soon as Gang Luo finished speaking, there was an explosion, and his body was blown into dozens of pieces and scattered on the ground. Damn it! I forgot that I was going to make a demon sword. Bai Yi scratched his hair in distress. Why the hell did he forget this matter? But fortunately, although the beast Luo could not be found at all, Gang Luo still had some stumps, plus Long Luo and Ji Luo. Bai Yi felt that it was enough. Listen. Is this human language? There was no hesitation in what Bai Yi said. Naturally, Long Luo and Ji Luo also heard it. Did they join forces to kill them just to refine the demon sword? Why do you feel like this bastard is more annoying than Inu Admiral? Family members, who knows? Well, can you please just stand there and let me give you a complete way to die? You know, this is the first time I have made the demon sword. If it is all corpse parts, I don't know if it will affect the demon sword. The power of it. After Bai Yi scratched his hair for a while, he suddenly thought of something. He raised his head and looked at Long Luo and Ji Luo, his eyes full of expectation. Wouldn't it be great if they could just stand there and let themselves choose a decent way to die for them? They died dignifiedly, they got a complete body, and everyone has a bright future. Idiot, what are you talking about in your sleep? Come quickly and help that Miko to deal with Ji Luo, and then the three of us will deal with Long Luo together. Cuizi took a deep breath and looked at Bai Yi like this. She felt numb. How could she stand there and let you kill her? It is better to think about something practical. When the three of them besiege Long Luo together, the problem of Penglai Island will be completely solved. I know you, woman, don't order me around. This woman seems to be getting more and more fluent in her commands, her behavior must be corrected. A strange combination of a monster and a Miko. Are they in love? Tsuyuki was a little surprised by the way Byakuya and Cuizi got along. Could it be that a shrine maiden could also fall in love with a monster? Although she has always protected the monsters and half-demon on Penglai Island, she has always believed that there is no possibility of love between the two parties, but she didn't continue to think about it. Instead, she turned her head and thanked Bai Yi solemnly. Thank you for your help. If it weren't for the arrival of Cuizi and Bai Yi, perhaps Penglai Island would really be doomed. The opponent defeated two monsters as soon as he appeared. It was unheard of for a first-class monster to defeat two big monsters, but he did it right before his eyes. You're welcome. You are such a good person. Monster. What the hell? A black line flashed in Bai Ye's eyes. You might as well not correct the latter one. Forget the verbal thanks, remember you owe me a favor. All right, Zuiji took back what she just said. Although she said that, Bai Yi always had a mean feeling when she said these words. I see. She didn't think much about it. Regardless of whether the other party did it intentionally or not, she did owe Bai Yi a big favor this time. She will indeed need to pay her back in the future. As long as Bai Yi is useful to her place, she will help Bai Yi. But with Bai Ye's strength, there shouldn't be anything she needs to help with, right? He is stronger than me, and as a monster, he doesn't need to worry about his lifespan, so he won't want to stay in Penglai Island, unless it's for that treasure. If I have to say one thing Bai Yi can't do, maybe it's that he can't have children, and I have one more ability to have children than him, right? Then I'll leave it to you. My spiritual power is not enough to fight now, so I can only cooperate with you. Just before Bai Yi and others came, Zhou had fought with the four fighting gods for a while, and her spiritual power was almost exhausted. If Bai Yi and others hadn't come, she would have wanted to die with the four fighting gods. I'm exhausted, and the four fighting gods are obviously in good condition. Bai Yi turned his head and looked at Ji Luo. Ji Luo's combat power is second only to Long Luo, far higher than Beast Luo and Gang Luo. However, facing the attacks of Zhou and Bai Yi, his situation is extremely bad. On the one hand, he dare not look at those eyes, because before, it was Beast Luo who looked at those eyes, and then he was affected and stood still and couldn't move. Secondly, the opponent's ability to trigger lightning to fight made Ji Luo, who had already lost his ability to observe, even more miserable. He applied for a duel. Get out of the way. Zoji drew her bow and shot an arrow, which was accompanied by the magic-breaking arrow with all of Zoji's spiritual power at the moment. Ji Luo wanted to dodge the cold light behind him. He knew that if he couldn't dodge, he would most likely die. However, the moment he raised his head, he happened to meet Bai Ye's sharply mocking mouth and eyes. Although it was only a moment, he felt that his body could not move in an instant. The magic-breaking sword pierced Ji Luo's heart, and then a huge hole appeared. Ji Luo's eyes were scattered and he fell to the ground from the air in an instant. After the death of 3 brothers in a row, Long Luo felt that he was going crazy at the moment. What made him even more unacceptable was that he had to face Cuizi, Bai Yi and Zoji's 2 people and 1 demon siege. Even if Zoji's spiritual power was not much or even gone, but she recovered next to him, he would also die. This time he must lose. After thinking this through, he looked at the 3 people present with hatred in his eyes, memorized their appearances in his mind, and secretly swore in his heart that he would come back for revenge in the future. Run. As a big monster, you can't beat them, so you run. No wonder you can't beat the old dang of the dog general. I will never tolerate cowardice. You. Long Luo looked at Bai Yi angrily. He did want to run, but after being provoked by Bai Yi, he didn't want to run anymore. He admitted that he couldn't beat the dog general, but he would never say that he was cowardly. Thinking of this, he set his eyes on the bodies of Ji Luo and Ju Luo. If he merged the 2 of them, he would definitely become stronger. Noticing Long Luo's eyes, Bai Yi pointed to the bodies on the ground and said, "You merged them, let me see how strong you are." "Are you sure?" Long Luo was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect Bai Yi to let him merge. "Of course, since you don't choose to run, I will give you a chance. Don't say I'm bullying you." "Okay, you're a brave boy." Long Luo looked at Bai Yi with a little more appreciation. Although he was an enemy, he was really impressed by his courage. He flew directly to the bodies of Xiong Luo and Gang Luo. Looking at his movements, Bai Yi quickly approached Cuizi and whispered, "Hurry up, use your spiritual power to hit him." "Ah! Hit the TM, what are you doing, are you a fool? Give the enemy a chance to become stronger." Oh. Shameless. She had never seen such a shameless person. Cuizi found that Bai Ye's mouth could not be trusted at all. "What does it mean to make you stronger, and then let you sneak attack? Relying on deception and sneak attack, young people don't have martial ethics." But Cuizi's hands were not idle either. This sense of betrayal that broke the bottom line of the battle gave Cuizi a strange joy. The spiritual power gathered on Cuizi's long sword, and then the sword energy formed by the spiritual power flew towards Long Luo. Feeling the danger, Long Luo, who was about to absorb the corpse happily, turned his head to look at the spiritual power sword energy flying over, and his defense was broken instantly. "You bastard, you are lying. You are the idiot, right? Can you run or not? Stay here and wait for death. You are mentally ill, you can't win but you don't run and wait here. Who else can I lie to?" Listening to Bai Ye's slightly complacent tone, Zoji looked strange and regretted that she owed Bai Yi a big favor. Will he use this great favor to ask herself to do something strange in the future? Will it be broken? Long Luo was careful and never let down his guard just now, but even so, his left arm was cut off by Cuizi's spiritual power and fell to the ground. After losing his left arm, he could no longer use his wind blade Fang, and his combat power was greatly reduced. He looked at Bai Yi with a gloomy look, and now he just wanted to leave quickly. "It's too late, God's judgment." Above the sky, countless lightning struck Long Luo, and Cuizi was not idle here either. Long Luo, who was covered with scars, also understood that he would die today. Before he died, he cursed Bai Yi, this despicable and shameless villain, to die a bad death in his heart. With a plop, Long Luo's body fell directly, and then Bai Yi fired 10 more God's judgments before stopping. "Ouch, what are you doing?" Bai Yi turned his head and looked at Cuizi. The woman had a strange look in her eyes. Do you have a special hobby? Why do you chop him even though he's dead? Isn't it because I'm afraid he's not dead yet? What if he sneaks up on me? That this monster is really too cautious. Cuizi complained in her heart. Ding. Change the fate of the 4 fighting gods and get a chance to draw a lottery. Ding. Change the fate of Zhou and get a chance to draw a lottery. 2 chances to draw a lottery. Bai Yi smiled, and then thought about the lottery in his heart. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Baoxiangue Constitution, Switchable, Active Ability Passive Voucher, Remove Side Effects Version, Universal. Baoxiangue Constitution. The host can turn the body into diamond, and the host can choose to turn it on or off. Active Ability Passive Voucher. The active ability can be turned into a passive permanent blessing, while removing side effects. It is universal in the world, and this voucher will expire after 1 day. Monster Bai Yi, brothers, what is this active ability passive voucher? Daily Byakuya, make the active ability passive. By the way, if the Mangekyo is turned into a passive one, it can be maintained forever, and there will be no side effects. Can't it be used all the time? Hokage Byakuya, if you want to die, I can help you. Consuming physical strength is not a side effect. Do you have so much physical strength to consume? But the side effects of the Mangekyo are not a big problem. Anyway, I will have the sage body and the eternal eye later. Zombie Byakuya, my Taoism becomes passive? It doesn't feel any different. I still need to practice. This coupon will be gone in 1 day. How about turning the thunder fruit into a passive one? Pirate Byakuya, it's useless. What's so good about the thunder fruit that it can be turned into a passive one? Turning the 8 gates into a passive one can permanently improve our strength, and we can also use Night Kai without injury. Who else can I give this to? Fuck. Hokage Byakuya, if you didn't tell me, I would have forgotten that I had this. Yokai Byakuya, what about the 8 gates? It seems possible from this point of view. The first gate can exert 100% of the physical ability and provide attack and speed, the second gate removes the limit of physical fatigue, the third gate further improves attack and speed, and the fourth gate further improves attack and speed, but there will be physical damage, but there are no side effects. Each subsequent gate will be greatly improved. After the death gate, there is dozens of times the power of the 5 shadows. After this death gate becomes passive in the later stage, it is a permanent improvement. In the future, every Bai Yi who joins the chat group will receive a permanent benefit improvement from the 8 gates. Confirmed to be used in the 8 gates. Daily World, Bai Yi feels that his body seems to be undergoing changes. His originally thin body suddenly became strong. At this moment, he feels that he has endless strength in his body, and the dizzy power that made him dizzy after using the Mangekyo once is gone in an instant. Daily Bai Yi, there has never been such a wonderful start. Please cheer for me. Please cheer for me. Chapter 39 Infinite Moonlight reading in Inuyasha's world. Please read again, 4K. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 39, Infinite Moonlight reading in the world of Inuyasha. Please read again, 4K, Yokai Byakuya. The improvement seems not as big as I imagined, maybe because it is the first gate. After becoming passive, this ability is probably a permanent blessing. In this world, my demon power has also increased a lot, but not as much as I imagined. Daily Byakuya, it must have been a huge improvement for me in the early stage. I was able to easily punch through the iron plate with 1 punch just now, and I am no longer afraid of being killed by the citizens of Beihua. Do you know how he has been living these years? Beihua big stage, you come if you have a life. I thought it was just an everyday world, but I ended up with such a thing. Zombie Byakuya, to be honest, this is indeed a big improvement for me. I didn't major in physical training, but now my physical fitness has improved a lot. I feel that punching the zombie king and kicking the fierce ghost is just around the corner. The first gate of the 8 gates of Duanjia can allow people to exert 100% of their strength. In fact, everyone has their own limits. just like the old lady who suddenly burst out with powerful force to lift up the car when her grandson was crushed by a car. This may be like an alternative gene lock, but it is not comparable to the later stage of the gene lock monster by Yi. How long does it take to reach the later stage? Wait. Why do I feel that the progress of the 8 gates of Duanjia is accumulating? Pirate by Yi, I am practicing, and I found that the 8 gates of Duanjia can be improved very quickly when we practice together, so if we want to improve quickly, we need to practice together and strive to open 7 gates in a year. Daily by Yi, oh my. So fierce. But this is also possible. Thinking about it this way, if the progress is cumulative, everyone will get feedback when practicing, so if everyone practices together, they can improve very quickly. Pirate by Yi, I will practice more. I feel that the 8 gates of Duanjia is practiced faster in this world. Hokage by Yi, okay, I will practice too, and strive to improve you. Practice it when you have time. Since the progress is cumulative, and not everyone has to practice to become passive, then everyone can practice together and quickly improve the 8 gates of Duanjia, and strive to open 7 gates this year, and open all 8 gates the year after next. Unfortunately, if the White Knight of the Dragon Ball world joins, I am afraid that it will be completed soon. Daily White Knight. I seem to have discovered that if this kind of universal ability ticket appears in the future, it can also allow those active and passive enhancements to be directly blessed to everyone. Like the 8 gates of Duanjia, it can directly make an ordinary person like you have powerful strength, and there are no side effects. This also gave him a clearer understanding and greater grasp of some of the things he will do later. Having a gun and not using it are two concepts. Monster White Knight, that's right, I have a lot of time recently, so practice as soon as possible. The injury-free version of the 8 gates of Duanjia is a real way to improve the body's ability. It is universal in every world, and this time he got the physique of Bao Xiangui and can control diamonds at will. Then there is no need to find Bao Xiangui for diamonds, he can get them himself. Penglai Island, he collected the bodies of Ji Luo, Gang Luo, and Long Luo, and then took Long Luo's Wind Blade Fong and Thunder Blade Fong away. Now, he felt that the materials he had prepared were almost ready. Let's go. Bai Yi turned his head and looked at Cuizi. Now that the matter of Penglai Island was over, it was almost time to leave. As for the problem of the barrier, there was no need to worry. Since Zhou Ji was still alive, she could open the barrier of Penglai Island. Let's leave. Cuizi looked at Bai Yi in surprise. Just when Bai Yi was analyzing it with himself in the chat group, Cuizi had already established friendship with Zhou Ji. The way women establish friendship is very strange. Maybe because of a sentence, the two of them become friends. For Cuizi and Zhou Ji, the two of them lacked real friends who could confide in each other and were equal. Both of them wanted to get close to each other and become friends, so they hit it off. Or do you want to stay here as a guest? Bai Yi still had to forge a sword, and after forging the sword, he would go to the battlefield. It is very likely that the Inu general was injured in the war with the Leopard Cat clan, and then he went to fight with the Dragon Bone Spirit without stopping and was seriously injured, and then he went to fight with the Setsuna Mengwan who got the Tsong Yunya. It can be said that this old man would not die in any battle alone, but the three of them happened to rush together. If possible, please have a meal here before leaving. Zouji looked at Bai Yi solemnly. If it were not for him, Penglai Island would have become a hell on earth, so in order to express her gratitude, Zouji hoped that Bai Yi could stay here for a meal before leaving. How about we have a meal before leaving? Cuizi looked at Bai Yi eagerly. With this expression, are you acting like a spoiled child? Bai Yi stroked his forehead. He always felt that it was really unreal for Cuizi, a straightforward girl, to have such a thing happen to her. Well, have you ever thought that the monsters and half-demons you protect are actually more eager for the outside world? From the original work, Suji's starting point was good, but this false peace was actually disrupted by the appearance of the 4 fighting gods, and she discovered the cruelty of reality. Half-demons and monsters may not necessarily be unable to adapt to the outside world, but they have been protected on Penglai Island. If they are invaded one day, they may not even have a chance to resist. Zouji looked at Bai Yi in confusion, not knowing why he said that. Is her protection not good? But they will not be in danger here, why do they need to go to the outside world? I'm just saying that if there are people who are willing to go outside, they can leave. Not everyone needs protection. Bai Yi was not so extreme as to let Zoji release all of them directly. This will only make most of them die outside, but if there are people who want to leave and see the outside world, they can actually leave here. Forget it, this is your business on Penglai Island. It's not bad to live here. Perhaps, this is another kind of infinite moon reading. In fact, it's not bad. There is no worry here. Perhaps after the 4 fighting gods are gone, Penglai Island will indeed not be invaded by other monsters. But if they go out, most of them will die, right? Zoji asked. What she has always been worried about is that these half-demons can't get along with humans and are rejected by monsters. That's why she has been protecting the half-demons on Penglai Island. They will die, so Penglai Island may be good or bad for them. Why are half-demons not accepted by humans and rejected by monsters? Those children have no place to live. Zoji turned her head and looked at Bai Yi. Cuizi on the side also subconsciously looked at Bai Yi, and she didn't know what she was thinking in her heart. Because of bloodline, half-demons and half-human bloodline, in the demon world, follow the pure bloodline, and humans themselves have hatred for monsters, so half-demons will naturally be rejected, so the birth of half-demons is tragic, but if their parents can protect their children, there will be no such problem. In fact, in Bai Ye's view, the birth of half-demons is a tragedy. If an ordinary monster falls in love with an ordinary human and gives birth to a child, then he can't protect himself or the child, but if the parents or any other party has strong power, it is also very simple to protect their children. For example, if Inu no Taisho had not died, Inuyasha's fate would not be so tragic, and Inuyasha was not very tragic when he grew up. He was recognized by Seshomaru in the early stage. However, because Seshomaru was killing enemies on the front line, Inuyasha was in love with humans in the back and was sealed by the Miko, which made Seshomaru very disappointed. So if it was you, what would you do? Respect the fate of others and let go of the plot of helping others. You can't save them. This is a tragedy created by the times. Although Bai Ye's words were cruel, they were also very realistic. This is the tragedy created by the times, because humans and monsters can't be together, but love is a very mysterious thing. Of course, if you think you can always protect them, then protect your utopia here. Indeed, the longer you live, the more you can see the darkness of this world, but is there no other way? Cuizi sighed. She killed too many monsters and saw too many evil hearts. This era seems to be really sick. Yes, unless there is a power to purify the world, which can suppress the entire era and make rules. Just like the Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara, Naruto and Sasuke, and the Six Paths Sage era in the Naruto world. Why did everyone love peace in that era? Because if you don't love peace, someone will make you love peace. Therefore, if you want peace, there must be someone who can suppress the entire era and force monsters and humans to follow their own rules together. Turning his head to look at the Miko who looked similar to Kikyo, Bai Yi shook his head. This is impossible. Even a strong man like Inu Taisho was killed, and she is even more impossible. So Yasha, let's fight for this era together. Hey. Why are you dragging me along? Looking at Cuizi's energetic look, Bai Yi immediately felt something was wrong. I just provided some ideas, and I didn't want to change the era with you. So don't you think it's cool to change an era? Tsuko was full of energy. It was obvious that she had found her goal again from the blueprint that Bai Yi had just spoken. At first, Tsuko only wanted to kill those evil monsters and make the world more peaceful, but after listening to Bai Ye's words, Tsuko suddenly realized that she seemed to have set a bigger goal. She wanted to create an era where humans, monsters, and half-demons could live in peace. If such a world can be created, it seems to be really good. Thank you for clearing my doubts again. Hey. What did he say? Seeing Zoji's grateful eyes, Bai Yi stroked his forehead and felt as if he had refreshed the worldview of the two witches, so that's not what he wanted to say just now. Why don't I let myself in the Naruto world get the infinite Tsukuyomi and give them all an infinite Tsukuyomi? Bai Yi, say something. Ahem, I think it's not impossible to change the rules of the world, but it's too early for us. After all, there are still many difficulties that have not been solved. It's okay. Even if we don't solve it in the future, if we have a child in the future, we can teach him and let him inherit our will. Child, that has this woman already set her sights on the child? Is it like you are a fool moving mountains? Looking at Bai Ye's surprised eyes, Cuizi muttered in her heart. She had hinted very clearly, why didn't this guy seem to understand? Let's talk about it later. I'm going to make a demon sword after dinner. Demon sword, demon sword. Go with your demon sword in the future. Cuizi complained in her heart. It seems that she didn't listen to what she said before. During the meal, Cuizi was unhappy, Zhou was thoughtful, and Bai Yi was thinking about what new abilities his demon sword would have next. Let's go there quickly. If Yunmu doesn't have the strength later, I will carry you there. No need. I can go there by myself, and if you can't wait, you can go there first. What's going on? This woman is so irritable all of a sudden. Bai Yi muttered in his heart, thought about it, but couldn't figure it out, so he nodded and agreed with Cuizi's words. Okay, let's see when the time comes. After Bai Yi said this, Zhou covered her mouth and couldn't help laughing. Stupid monster, can't you see what a girl is thinking? After saying goodbye to Zhou, Cuizi was like a mute person all the way, and didn't say much. After finally flying to Dao Daosai's residence, Bai Yi finally felt relieved. The Daosai, I brought you all the materials, the bodies of Long Luo, Ji Luo, and Gang Luo, the Imperial God Tree, the diamond, Long Luo's 2 swords, as well as the spiritual energy, corpse gas and corpse poison were all placed in front of Dao Daosai. Master Bayasha, you have made so many things during this period of time. No. The corpses of the 3 big demons also had 2 demon swords with strong demonic auras, and there was also the diamond of Boxiangui, and the imperial sacred wood that retained its power was also obtained by him, and there were also things he had never seen before. No. Originally, I thought that Bai Yi was just going out to get some materials casually, and Dao Daosai didn't have too much expectation on how many good things he could get back. He even thought about whether to take out some of the things in the bottom of the box to make a good sword for Bai Yi. As a result, Bai Yi actually made so many things. Oh, by the way, there is also the flame of the ringing furnace. This flame has a better forging effect. Let me use it together. How long will it take you to forge a sword for me? Bai Yi took out the flame of the ringing furnace that Zhou had taken out and saved for her. It would be better to use this to forge. It may take some time. There is also your teeth, Master Bayasha. In addition, these 2 completely different powers, Master Bayasha, have you ever thought about making 2 weapons? P.S. Thank you for your Chijin coins and monthly ticket recommendation tickets. Thank you QAQ. Chapter 40. So, let's fall in love with the witch. Please read it again, 4K. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 40, So, let's fall in love with Amiko. Shou Jue reading, 4K. Todasai, I have an idea. Is it possible to create a handle for me that can suit my wishes? When I want to use it, it will have whatever power I want, just like an iron broken tooth. Although Bai Yi doesn't think Tai Suya is suitable for him, Tai Suya has an ability that Bai Yi is actually envious of. It's Tai Suya who can swallow demon power and evolve different moves. Bai Yi didn't want 2 swords, but one that could switch abilities at will. Does Master Bayaksha want to make it like Tai Suya? Todosai was also a little troubled. It was an accident that he made Tetsuya. He never expected to create such a heaven-defying weapon. If Bai Yi asked him to build it like Tai Suya, he felt that he might not be able to build it. It doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be based on Tai Suya's ability, but you can let these abilities fuse together, and then when I want to use which ability, it will appear according to my heart, instead of all appearing at once. And although it doesn't appear all at once, if I need to use all the power together, it must be compatible with other abilities and be used by me. Bai Yi has been following it. Although I can do without it, but no, I can't live without it. So it doesn't have to be the effect of swallowing demon power, right? Todasai's eyes lit up. If Bai Yi insisted on it, he couldn't give it to him. but if you don't have this feature, you can still try to build it yourself. By the way, if I have to reforge later, will it take away all my previous abilities? Bai Yi was thinking about recreating it later. This knife is not the final version yet. No, just come to me directly later. If you want to modify it, just provide the materials. Totosai can still guarantee this. About 15 days. Master Byakusha just needs to wait for 15 days. Okay, I'll find you to pick up the knife in 15 days. Bai Yi nodded and made an estimate, feeling that it was about the same. Come back to Totosai in 15 days to pick up the sword. There are too many materials. I can't use them all to make a knife. It's really distressing. Totosai scratched the few hairs on his forehead helplessly. The reason why he had just suggested that Bai Yi make 2 weapons was because Bai Yi gave him too many materials. With so many materials, he really didn't know how to use them all. Leaving the materials given by the knife owner for other people to use or to collect for himself was a taboo for knife makers. It seems that it can only be used later. If there are too many to use up, then make a dagger or something else for Bai Yi. Totosai also had an idea in his heart. After talking to Totosai, Bai Yi looked at Cuizi, who was sitting on a big rock and looking into the distance, waiting for him to come over. He patted Cuizi on the shoulder and reminded, "Okay, you can go, Cuizi." Cuizi turned her head, looked at Bai Yi and asked, "Is it good? We need to wait for 15 days. Don't you want to go for a walk? Is there anywhere else you want to go?" Of course he won't continue to wait here for these 15 days, so he can go for a walk with Cuizi. "Well, I want to go to a bigger town to buy some things." "Okay, there happens to be one nearby." The towns during the Warring States period were not very big, but most of the time when you wanted to buy something, you couldn't buy it in a small village. Strange, no monsters are allowed to enter here. She came in with Bai Yi, and found that monsters were not prohibited from entering. "Do you really miss me that I can't come in?" "No. So what did you come here to buy?" "A change of clothes. I don't want to keep walking around this world wearing this combat uniform." Cuizi said softly. She wants to walk with Bai Yi as an ordinary person, not Cuizi, the demon slayer. "Oh, then you go and choose. I'll go shopping by myself." When Bai Yi came to this world, it was his first time in a human city. As for following Cuizi to buy clothes, Bai Yi would not do it. His past life experience told him that if you follow a woman to buy clothes, no matter how strong your physical strength is, you will end up exhausted. After saying goodbye to Cuizi, Bai Yi also started walking around the city. It was a bit similar to ancient times, with all kinds of gadgets. When he came to a small stall, Bai Yi paused. "Hello, young master, do you want to see rouge?" The little girl looked at Bai Yi nervously. The man in front of her was dressed in gorgeous clothes, which was in sharp contrast to the linen clothes on her body. She was also a little scared facing the distinguished guests. "What kind of rouge is usually given to women?" Listening to Bai Yi's words, the girl was stunned. "Ah. Is there any rouge for men?" "It's usually red." Before the girl could answer, a gentle voice reminded her slowly. Bai Yi turned his head to look at the person coming. The warrior on the side also picked up his weapon and quickly protected the person in front of him. "Princess, please go back. It's not safe outside." "Well, if I want to give the person I like rouge, I can choose this red color. I believe the person will like it." "Izaoi? So this is Izaoi's father's castle?" No wonder he wasn't stopped, probably because of Inu Admiral. Byakuya looked at Izaoi's belly. There was a new life brewing there. It seemed to be his second stupid Odo. "I see." Picking up rouge, Bai Yi left in a hurry after paying the money. Looking at Byakuya's back, a trace of disgust flashed across Setsuna Mengmaru's face. "Princess, that guy smells like a monster." "I know it." Izaoi still answered gently, but at the same time, he secretly wondered in his heart, could it be Inu Admiral's child? He looked somewhat similar to Inu Shogun, and he also had a similar smell. He touched his belly, and a maternal light flashed across Izaoi's face. This scene fell into Setsuna Tengen's eyes. This was even more. It made him extremely jealous and crazy. In his opinion, it's all the monster's fault. If it weren't for him, Princess Izayoi would definitely be with him. Bai, are you finished shopping so soon? Cuizi has already bought all the clothes, and the styles are similar. She feels good, but it is a pity that Bai was not here just now. Well, I'll give this to you. Bai said, giving the rouge he just selected to Cuizi. Huh? Rouge? Cuizi opened the shell, and the rouge inside came into view. Well, because I think this should be quite suitable for you. Isn't it said that all girls have rouge? I don't think you have one, so I gave you one. Thanks. Cuizi felt a wave of emotion in her heart. It seemed like it was the first time she was treated as a woman. It seems that in everyone's mind, she is an exorcist, a great witch, an existence that can protect everything, but no one has ever regarded herself as a real woman. She has received many gifts, but never rouge. After smearing some of the rouge in the shell on her index finger, and then on her lips, Cuizi raised her head and looked at Bai, with a trace of expectation in her eyes. Does it look good? Nice. Bai's face turned slightly red, and she suddenly realized in her heart that it seemed that not only stupid half-demon would be with humans. The two people's faces gradually came closer, and Yunyu on the side tilted her head and looked at the two people in confusion. How about it? The woman you like already likes other monsters. Do you want to cooperate with us? In the Demon Slayer village, the monsters found a man in the village. This man has always been secretly in love with Cuizi, but he dared not express his love. However, as time goes by, his love contains more evil thoughts, and he longs for Cuizi. This evil thought has even attracted the surrounding monsters. Noticing the man's evil thoughts and knowing the desire in the man's heart, the monsters began to seduce the man, hoping that the man would cooperate with them and merge into a powerful half-demon, and introduce Cuizi into the originally designed cave. Cuizi was eliminated. The man was a little shaken at first. Although he loved Cuizi, he was still hesitant. He knew very well that once he really became one with the monsters, the probability that he would be with Cuizi as a monster would be very low, but after seeing what the monsters showed him, the man's mentality collapsed instantly. Why? Cuizi is such a powerful witch, why would she be with a monster? Monsters and witches themselves are two opposites, and Cuizi has always taken the responsibility of exterminating monsters, but a witch who eliminates monsters finally comes together with monsters. What an irony! At the same time, this also caused the man's original persistence to be shattered in an instant. Don't you know yet? You don't have the strength, so you can only watch Cuizi being with other men. If you merge with us, you will be able to have strong strength. Won't you also have a chance? What's more, since if you can't get it, then why let other monsters get it? That guy is the son of General Inu. You can't be his opponent at all. It's impossible to get Cuizi back. So why are you still hesitating now? That the bewitching voices of the monsters have completely destroyed the man's psychological defense. He only hates Cuizi now, and hates Cuizi for her depravity, that she would choose to be with a monster. Since he can't get it, he will never allow other monsters to get it. The loopholes in the soul are captured by monsters, and the monsters begin to merge with men. Lord Qingming, it's done over there and a suitable monster carrier has been found. The next step is to wait until Cuizi appears. That the boy told Abe Saimai the latest information, and everything was going according to their plan. Surprisingly, the man originally thought it would take some time, but he did not expect that the love between Cuizi and the monster seemed to be exciting. Here comes the man. This also speeds up the progress. Well, the two of them are actually together. What a fateful meeting. A trace of emotion flashed across Abe Saimai's face. Looking at the person in the mirror, he never thought, is this really love? If two people who love each other merge into the Four Souls Jade, and continue to fight with the monsters in the Four Souls Jade, this may become a more perfect Jade. So do we need to schedule it now? No, the monster aura on that man is too strong. He will be discovered before he even gets close. Abe Haruaki shook his head. This was not a good time to act. The man had just merged with the monster, and the monster aura on his body was very strong. Coupled with his very evil heart, it was impossible for him to get close to the two people. Even after a while, he can't hide his aura. Don't worry, we can give him some treasures to hide the aura on his body, just in time to let them fall into the trap together. If there are two, it seems that relying on these monsters alone is not enough, right? That if it is one Cuizi, then the monsters can rely on the monster's monster C tactics to drag the opponent to death, but if there is another Baiyi, it seems unlikely, right? Doesn't Inuyasha still have many enemies? Abe Haruaki said lightly. It is indeed impossible to rely on these monsters alone, but Inuyasha is not without enemies. If you can't deal with Inuyasha, can't you deal with Inuyasha's son? I understand, Lord Qingming. Well, go and make arrangements. Since that guy has merged with the monsters, you go find something to feed him. Don't let the Jade become too weak. The night parade of 100 demons is about to begin, and Heiankyo is almost losing its function. A gleam of light flashed in Abe Qingming's eyes. His plan was about to begin, but he had to get the Jade ready before that, otherwise, it wouldn't be perfect, and everything has been planned. Abe Qingming is also looking forward to it. Two people and monsters in love will be entangled with each other in the Four Souls Jade and fight with other monsters in the Jade forever. Such a Four Souls Jade seems to be a very potential Jade, monster Baiyi, although it's a bit strange, I seem to be single. In the chat group, he briefly explained his situation here. He originally just wanted to give Cuizi a box of rouge, but he didn't expect to be with the other party in such a muddle. Zombie Baiyi, kill them all. JGP. Hokage Byakuya, I'm still a child, don't tell me that. Daily Byakuya, I'm so envious, you're the first one in the group to be single. Pirate Byakuya, what are you envious of? There are so many beauties in your world, unlike me. My world is really miserable. When I get old, there are a lot of green flowers. Although there is pure gold, who knows if the figure will be out of shape after having pure gold. It is true that I won't get old, but the people here shrink when they get old. Hokage Byakuya, if I remember correctly, according to the setting, won't the Empress look good when she gets old? Pirate Byakuya, am I going to play the cultivation game? Daily Byakuya, have you ever thought about the old lady? The root of Momonosuke's appearance is cut off. Momonosuke must die. Ding! The chat group meets the invitation conditions, and new people are joining. P.S. Thank you for your Chidian coins, recommendation tickets, and monthly ticket rewards, Sob QAQ.